man accused of Mayowa's 2014 murder to show where police allegedly assaulted him while forcing him to confess to the murder. 5 men are being tried for the Bafana Bafana captain's killing in what the state believes was a hit by his lover, Kelly Khumalo. Katiso Molefe reports.
Sergeant Gezani Mangani told the court yesterday that he took pictures on the 4th of this month during the inspection in Loco as he was instructed by the lawyers in this case. He says the next day he returned to the municipal precinct without being instructed to do so in order to take pictures of the area with no people present so the court could have a clearer view. During cross-examination by Muzisibia's lawyer, Advocate Charles Mnisi, he told the court that he took some pictures on the day of the inspection, which State Advocate George Baloyi asked him to take.
Advocate Baloyi says to you, when you had a discussion, both of you, also take a picture there. Is that what happened?
No, when we were there was everyone we were working. Then he said he needs photos of this place while we were working.
Mangani told the court that he took more pictures than the ones he'd added to his album, and the defense asked that he bring those to court this morning. Katiso Molefe, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
And more than 100 aid workers have warned that mass starvation is spreading in Gaza. Israel is facing mounting international pressure over the catastrophic humanitarian situation in the Palestinian territory, where about 2 million people face severe shortages of food and other essentials that the Israeli government is blocking from reaching sick and hungry Palestinians. This has been happening since the Hamas attacks on Israel in 2023, when more than 1,000 people were killed and more than 200 taken hostage. Tel Aviv has now killed more than 59,000 Palestinians in attacks on Gaza, while the UN says Israel forces have also killed more than 1,000 Palestinians while they were trying to get food from the US and Israel-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. The organization started operations in May, effectively sidelining the existing UN-led system. UN Chief Antonio Guterres has condemned the attacks on United Nations humanitarian aid facilities.
And now we are seeing the last gasp of a humanitarian system built on humanitarian principles. This system is being denied the conditions to function, denied the space to deliver, denied the safety to save lives. With Israeli military operations intensifying and new displacement orders issued in Deir al-Balah, devastation is being layered upon devastation.
Gold is trading at $3,472.75 an ounce. The rand is at 17.55 to the dollar, 23.76 to the pound, 20.52 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $68.80 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident on the M1 North. It's really a major one. It's causing delays just as you approach the Corley Drive exit. Delays coming out of the Killarney Bends. There's also an accident on the N3 North. It happened right near the Kilulis interchange. It is slowing down traffic coming out of the Geldenes Elands interchange. So please be on the lookout there and approach with care. We'll have more updates for you coming up.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures will peak at highs between 17 and 18 degrees. The top story in EW and this hour, the ANC will be feeling more confident today than it would have only a few days ago about saving face when the National Assembly looks to pass the final money bill.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Walk through history, walk with it. Sunday, 27 July, 7:02 Walk the Talk. Hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane. More on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
8 minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show on this Wednesday, the 23rd day of July. It's wonderful to have you with us here on 702. I wish you all the best with your plans, vandag. 011-883-0702 is the number to dial as we start the 702 open line this hour. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. Remember to share your comments on YouTube as well. I'll read some of those if you go to the 702 YouTube page. If you're watching and listening to the show at the same time, you can drop your comments there on YouTube. I'll go through them as well. Our hearts are so broken this morning because it's the end of the road for Banyana in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. They lost to Nigeria 2-1 yesterday in the semi-final clash. So our hopes of defending the WAFCON have ended in tears for us. So we're now going to play for third place on Friday. Did you watch the game? What did you think? Let me know. You can give us a call or send a WhatsApp voice note. There's also a question I'm asking this morning. Are the days of a marriage in and out of community property over? In as far as disadvantaging your partner is concerned, I'm going to tell you about these plans that are afoot in a moment, because South Africa's divorce and property laws are set for a major overhaul, and this is to ensure fairer asset division. So if you're getting divorced, reviewing your antenuptial contract or finalizing a deceased spouse's estate, these upcoming changes could significantly impact your financial rights. So we're going to be talking about that in a moment as well. But at 10 o'clock, we are going to speak to the Patriotic Alliance about its decision to suspend the party's deputy president, Kenny Kunene, pending the outcome of an investigation. In fact, they're not calling it suspension. They're saying they're going to ask him to step down for about a month from party activities, but also from his responsibilities as an MMC. And you'll remember this is after Kunene was found at the house of one of the key suspects in the murder of DJ Sumbody. The police found him there when they went to arrest Katiso Molefe. And Kunene has since claimed that he was there to accompany a young journalist who was going to do an exclusive interview with Molefe. So Steve Mutale is the Patriotic Alliance's spokesperson. He spoke to us earlier on. So I'll play that interview for you at 10 o'clock. We'll also bring in the former Hawks head, Godfrey Lebeya. Remember, the KZN Police Commissioner, Ntantlam Konazi, alleged that Lebeya, when he was Hawks head, dispatched a team to the home of Molefe to stop an arrest previously when they tried to arrest this gentleman. So we're going to have that conversation with him as well at 10 o'clock. And then at 10:30, we are trying to figure out what happened with the Department of Health. So there are 8 ANC Youth League leaders in Gauteng who have been appointed to boards of Gauteng's public hospitals. And the Gauteng Health Department doesn't want to do interviews about this, which is quite strange. And if you work for the Gauteng Health Department, maybe you can help us come through and explain what's going on, because this is looking very dodgy. Since yesterday. In fact, I had the opportunity to speak to the ANC Youth League last night on the SABC about these boards. And this is not to say, of course, that the ANC Youth League leaders shouldn't be given opportunities like this. But I think we're dealing here with an organization, the African National Congress, which has proven to us that they're willing to abuse these positions and offer them to their comrades. We've seen it happen before, recently with Nobuhle Nkabane as well, when she was busy appointing board chairs of seaters, and she was getting Gwede's son, Gwede's advisor, and other ANC politicians as chairs of these boards. And sometimes you wonder why certain institutions are not operating efficiently, because even the board of directors are not efficient. We've seen cases like that. That's what has also led to the destruction of our state-owned entities. So we are going to ask serious questions, and we're going to have raised eyebrows when we see a group of politicians being given positions like that, because we need to satisfy ourselves that these are the people that have the requisite skills to help in those boards, to help try and deal with our struggling hospitals. So 8 ANC Youth League leaders from Gauteng have been appointed to these boards of Gauteng's public hospitals. So are all of these leaders qualified to sit on the boards? Do they bring the requisite experience to help steer this critical healthcare system? That's a question I'm asking at 10:30. And even if the health department doesn't want to come talk to us, we'll bring in other players here as well. And we are going to stay on the story until they come out of the shell and speak to us. Because it's unacceptable that they don't want to come and address South Africans about such an important issue. They've gone to ground. We're told nobody is available to talk to us. You go to the MEC, nothing happens. Why? Why are you acting so dodgy? If there's nothing to hide here, why not come and explain to us, how did these 8 ANC Youth League leaders make it on the boards? If they are qualified and they've got the experience, why can't you come and explain that? Where's the MEC of Health in Gauteng? Where's the spokesperson? We're going to focus on this at 10:30. At 11 o'clock, we're going to do our Listener's Choice feature. And today we're looking at this child porn case against Meta. So the digital law company, which is led by legal expert Emma Sedlia, has secured a major victory in the battle to protect South African children from digital exploitation. So after a 2-week legal fight, the Gauteng High Court granted a consent order compelling Meta, which is the parent company of Instagram and WhatsApp, to take action against child pornography on its platform. So Meta is now committed to removing harmful content involving children, disclosing the identities of the offenders, and also working closely with the digital law company for the next 2 years via this fast-track hotline. I think this is groundbreaking. It's a groundbreaking case, which marks, in fact, I think the first time a global tech giant like this one has legally agreed to such terms in South Africa. So we'll talk to Emma Sedley about that at 11 o'clock. And then we're going to wrap up the show with a sharing space at 11:30. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Hi, Clement. Looking forward to a great show. Olan here from the Val. Hey, Clement, yeah, slightly disappointed, but taken nothing away from the girls. They represented the country as best as they could, and they showed pride. One thing for sure, Clement, we were champions till the last second of yesterday's game, and we showed why we are champions. I think Nigeria, as one of the best teams in Africa, went home with a clear understanding on the caliber of champions that we were as Banyana Banyana. The girls' heads should remain high up and the shoulders up. We are behind them. Thanks, Clement.
Oh, we're behind them indeed. And you're right. The Super Falcons are actually pretty good, right? Nigeria is really, really, really good. And they beat us 2-1 yesterday, ending our hopes of defending the WAFCON. But we're going to play for third place now on Friday. So let's wait and see how that match goes. If you've watched it, let's show some love for Banyana Banyana, please. They've been so incredible up to this point. It's 17 minutes now after 9.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
Here's a quick reminder for you. So 702 is going to be hosting the People's Dialogue next month. This is ahead of the President's National Dialogue. And we've been inviting you to take part and to also suggest for us what issues you think are important to cover. If you want to attend this People's Dialogue, which will be taking place here at Prime Media House, you can send an email to contact@702.co.za. Be quick because we are nearing the threshold. So there'll be a time when we won't take anybody else after, because there's a venue. We are working on a number of people that venue can accommodate. So if you want to attend, send an email to contact@702.co.za. Tell us your name, give us your details, and then we'll respond with the time, the date, and of course the address, and give you all the details of the People's Dialogue. We want to make sure that the audience is as diverse as possible. So if you're a youth organization, maybe you're a civil society, maybe you're an activist, maybe you're a professional, wherever you are, please come and join us. This is the People's Dialogue that will be taking place next month. We'll dedicate 3 hours, the entire 3 hours of this show, on that. So contact at 702.co.za.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
So what do you think of this decision by the Patriotic Alliance to ask Kenny Kunene to step aside for about a month? I mean, isn't that commendable? Imagine if the ANC would do that. And by the way, Gayton McKenzie doesn't say, I think Kenny probably is guilty. He is confident that Kenny Kunene is innocent. And yet, he still says, I'm going to take this tough decision to ask this man to step aside for a month from party activities, from his responsibilities as mayor, as MMC as well. Isn't that noble? I think it is. A leadership that says, as confident as it is that their comrade is innocent, and they're still able to say, we'll take you through that process. Have you ever seen any other organization that does that? Which organization has done that? Has the EFF ever done that? Has the ANC ever done that? Has the DA ever done that? What do you think of this decision? There's a lot that's not making sense here. And in fact, make sure you don't miss that conversation that I'm going to have with the Patriotic Alliance's, one of the leaders of the Patriotic Alliance, because I'm asking questions about this news website and why this journalist was accompanied. I think there were interesting responses there that may just be insightful for you. So 011-883-0702, you can call us about that. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. Now, there's another story that I want to make you aware of. It looks like the days of marriage in and out of community property to sort of disadvantage your partner are actually over. Because there's a question we need to ask about whether or not we are going to be moving away as a country. Are we going to be doing away with ANC? It turns out the courts at some point are going to be able to override antenuptial contracts upon divorce. Isn't that going to be tricky and interesting? So in June, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Minister Mabuluku Kabai, announced that the general laws, which is the family laws, the general laws amendment bill will soon be tabled in Parliament. The bill is expected to be introduced and processed within the year. And these are the reforms that stem from a 2023 Constitutional Court ruling, and they aim to protect spouses, particularly those that are married out of community of property without accrual, who are often left with nothing after divorce or death, despite years of non-financial contributions to the marriage. So there are certain people that are in marriages and they have contributed immensely to that marriage. And yes, it may not have been through financial or through material ways, but they have contributed immensely. A court could be in a position to override any antenuptial contracts and make sure that what is due to this particular spouse is due to them, and they receive that. So this bill proposes amendments to the Divorce Act, the Matrimonial Property Act, and the Mediation in Certain Divorce Matters Act. It will give the courts greater powers to redistribute assets fairly and will be particularly beneficial to spouses in pre-1984 marriages and those who excluded accrual in their antenuptial contracts. We've spoken about this before when the court ruling came out, but now there are processes underway in Parliament to make this a reality. So let me know what your thoughts are on this one. This greater power that the courts will have to somehow override anti-nuptial contracts upon divorce. They're going to get greater powers to redistribute assets. Whether even if you're married out of community of property, the court can still say, based on the circumstances, evidence that's been submitted, we think that this person and this is due to them. Even though you've signed an you married out of community of property. This is going to have some serious consequences, and I think a lot of people are going to think very, 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 very seriously how they get into marriages. Let me know what your thoughts are. Maybe you're a lawyer. You want to shed some more light on this. 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Clement, good morning. I trust you well. You know, when they say, when it rains, it pours. This is what is happening in South Africa. What is happening, Godfrey Lebeya, Kenny Kunene, you know, it does vindicate Mkwanazi that also the Commission of Inquiry, its terms of reference must be extended. And so many people needs to tell us what's happening in the relationship between high-ranking politicians, the criminal world, and the police. Anonymous.
Hi, Clement. Hearing what Gayton Mackenzie has done to Kenny is a breath of fresh air. Honestly, it's unreal. It's unbelievable in South Africa on these days, especially coming from the ANC. I mean, after having the ANC doing this to us for a long time, I'm actually surprised, and I'm happy for Gayton. Next time I vote, he'll get my vote definitely. Manlen Binoni.
Hi, good morning, Clement. That's Ishmael in Cape Town. I couldn't wait for you to come on the show. I love your show, man. I listen to your show every single day. I love your political analysis. You're a true journalist. And Kenny Kunene, I wonder what Kwanazi did, but the stories are being played out very smoothly, and I'm just sitting on the terrace watching what's happening on the ground. It's really, really, really fascinating. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it really is fascinating, and thanks for the kind words. On the WhatsApp line, Neil says, Clement, let's not sugarcoat the Banyana defeat to Nigeria. The second Nigeria goal was due to a catastrophic error by our goalkeeper. She should have never again play. She should never again play for the national team after such an elementary mistake. Oh, come on, that is unfair. Huh? I mean, mistakes happen. The reason people win is because they have to capitalize on our mistakes too. So if you make a mistake, that doesn't mean you must be banned for good from playing for the national team. It's a mistake, the same way that players would have made that mistake. I think it's unfair to suggest that she must never play ever for the national team. All right, let's go to Ryan, who's calling us from Centurion. Ryan, you want to talk about this proposed law. What do you think about it? Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm a small business owner. I've been married. I'm on my third marriage. There's a reason why, as a small business owner, I got married out of community of property. Number one, to protect myself and also my spouse. And if the law can be changed to the extent where a court can say we nullify that agreement, it takes away the privilege of me accumulating whatever on my side I am, but it also puts my partner at risk because somebody else can come and claim from that partner what does not belong to me. So I think it's a double-edged sword if we give the courts the power to decide when and when not to uphold an agreement that you and your spouse decided on before you got married.
How do we ensure fairness, though, Ryan? Because when the Constitutional Court ruled on this last year, they said that it's unfair and unconstitutional that there are spouses out there, mostly women, who were homemakers, right? Because they are husbands, and sometimes it's a husband who have asked them, just stay at home, look after the kids, and the husband were out running a business or working. The Constitutional Court, it's unfair that such women who have still contributed immensely to the family home, to this marriage, even though non-financial contributions, it's unfair that they walk away with nothing. So this law is expected to ensure that fairness. How else can we ensure fairness?
I hear you. I agree with you. And I think the law should rather than say, if that is the scenario between you and your spouse, draw up an agreement. Let's call it, for argument's sake, an employment agreement between you and your spouse. You are staying home. That's my expectation, but you will be remunerated for it. Let's rather than use the courts to bring fairness in a proper way, because we can't argue away the fact that, yes, there are certain relationships where the one or the other spouse are being abused financially. So we have to protect them. We have to look after them, 100%. But let's put structure into place specifically to rather manage that, because divorces are difficult. And then to have a complete stranger on the other side tell you what you're allowed to or not allowed to keep or give away.
Yeah, no, I got you. I got you, Ryan and Centurion. Let's hear what the other listeners think. How do we ensure fairness? And I get what Ryan says, that maybe draw up an employment contract. And this is so important more for you. If you're a spouse staying at home, you're a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad, your other spouse is the one who goes out to run the business, who makes financial contributions, you are also contributing immensely to the marriage. So you need to start the conversation and say, let's draw up a contract, because should there be a death or a divorce, ordinarily you would never stand a chance. And this is what this new law is trying to do. It's trying to say that let's give the courts this power. Let's empower them to redistribute assets between spouses that are married out of community of property without accrual. So if such a marriage ends, whether by divorce or death, a judge may then award a portion of the spouse's assets to the other. I think that ensures fairness, because I've seen many cases where there are women who stay at home. They've never had any conversation with their husband because you just think things are going to be fair. You're married out of community of property, and then there's a divorce. You're left with nothing, regardless of all the sacrifices you've made for that marriage and that family. It's 9:31. More of your calls and WhatsApps after the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Fisa, good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. The man arrested in connection with the murder of Ekurhuleni senior auditor Mpho Mafule is expected to make his first appearance in the Campton Park Magistrates Court today. Mafule was shot on the East Rand while driving home from work earlier this month. The 40-year-old suspect was arrested on Sunday. Chairperson of Parliament's Appropriations Committee, Musi Maimane, says he hopes tensions between the two biggest parties in the Government of National Unity can set their differences aside to finalise the budget process. MPs at the National Assembly will vote on the appropriation bill today, which apportions money to departments. The fiscal framework and division of revenue bills were passed last month. And terror charges against prominent Kenyan activist Boniface Mwangi have been dropped following widespread condemnation. He has not been slapped with, or he's now been slapped with, a lesser charge of unlawful possession of ammunition after he appeared in court earlier this week. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling on the M1 North, we've got bumper-to-bumper delays between the Killarney Bends and Caller Drive due to a major accident scene. The M1 South is also affected with delays coming out of Greyston Drive all the way towards Caller Drive. Please be on the lookout there. If you're traveling towards Bedfordview, you still have got that major accident scene to deal with. It's on the N3 North, right near the Kilulis interchange. Delays as you come out of the Elands interchange. And you will also be on a slow move if you are traveling along the N12 as well as the R24 West. This is between Edenville Road and the Kilulis interchange. Heading towards the Sunning Hill, some delays on the N1 North between the Winnie Mandela Drive exit and Rivonia Road. There's also slow-moving traffic on the N1 South towards Midrand. This is due to an accident that happened near Samrand Road and is causing delays. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
What is the purpose of this surcharge? What was the city intending to use the money for?
When the budget was presented, these tariff charges weren't something that was mentioned up front. That is something which we gauged by engagement yesterday with some of the residents of Tembisa. They spoke directly to the fact of the lack of responsiveness by the current ANC, EFF and Action SA coalition, specifically when they presented the city's budgets through the IDP consultation process.
Brandon Pretorius is the DA's caucus leader.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
This winter, the coolest road waits at the finish line. Polar Ice Cream is proud to sponsor the 702 Walk the Talk, Gauteng's biggest walk for change. They're bringing the fun, the flavor, and free ice cream for all finishers because nothing says well done like a polar treat. It's their way of sharing happiness and getting South Africans moving this winter. Stay active, stay cool with Polar Ice Cream. Polar, share the happiness.
Every day I'm hustling. It's our reality as business owners. And it's good to know that there's someone out there who takes care of the business that makes the business. Gotta love My Way Business Insurance. Saving big on premiums with 24/7 emergency services, plus My Business Assist with marketing, legal, and labor advice services.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
It is said that he finished university when he was 7, and when he turned 10, his parents moved out. He once won a rodeo competition, riding an elephant, and he drives a tank. Discover the GWM Tank 300 Turbo Diesel from $8,099 per month. Visit gwm.coza for T's and C's and to book a test drive. Go with more. Go with the new GWM Tank 300 Diesel.
Aquele.
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 Aquela.
Aquele.
Aquili.
Aquele.
No matter how you say it, one thing's for sure. Aquele is South Africa's most loved water brand, refreshing you with pure natural spring water and delicious flavored sparkling drinks. From every sip to every smile, thank you Mzansi for making Aquele a part of your everyday moments. Aquele, spreading joy to South Africa naturally.
Some walks are just for exercise, others for leisure. But this walk is for something greater.
It's team building.
This July, you won't just take a step, you'll take a stand. You'll walk through history. You'll walk with it. On Sunday, 27 July, the 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane, returns. It's a route that winds through the heart and soul of our capital city. From the sacred grounds of Freedom Park to the powerful steps of the Union Buildings. Choose the 8 kilometer for those walking strong, the 6.7 kilometer in honor of Mandela Month, or the 4 kilometer for families and first-timers. Entries are 360 Rand for adults, 200 Rand for children under 12. Enter now on primemediaplus.com. 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane, is where footsteps become footprints.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the Talk with Clement Manyathela.
On 702.
23 minutes before 10 o'clock. Unati, you calling from Centurion. What do you want to say about Kenny Kunene? Hi.
Thanks, Clement, for the opportunity.
Sure.
Mine is not so much about Kenny Kunene, but all I want to say is that we have a little bit of in fact, as South Africans, I would say we are a bit naive when it comes to the criminal underworld, right? This thing is much bigger. The Commission of Inquiry is proper. Because one thing I can tell you now is that these guys, there is a university in the Western Cape. If you're doing law, the drug lords would want to sponsor your studies. What does it mean long term? It means that they will be asking for favors from the people who are either in the legal fraternity. They might even become judges one day. So the whole thing, for me, of Kenny Kunene, and it's just a tip of an iceberg. When this thing is done, you will see many politicians that come today and talk to us and pretend to be for the people. They are all funded. Majority of them are funded by the very same people, because these are the legislators. These are the people that decide what law is passed, what law is not passed. And the same approach of them funding these politicians because they want something in return. So I'm just saying kudos to the president having instituted this Commission of Inquiry so that we understand exactly, because firing Senzo Mchunu would not actually help.
Yeah. Let's see what this inquiry is going to establish. Also, remember what Gayton McKenzie once said. Hey, because sometimes then things are moving so fast you forget what happened before. I mean, Kenny Kunene is the deputy to Gayton. He's found at this home of this man who's one of the key suspects in the murder of DJ Sumbody. And then what happened a few days before? This is what Gayton said.
Mkonazi is blaming the minister Mchunu, the minister and them are blaming. So let's get to the truth of it. It's just that people must understand it's frustrating when you want action right now and you want things to happen. But this thing is so delicate that I'm telling you, what is going to come out of that? South Africans must be ready. I'm also going to testify at the commission because I know things.
I know things. Huh? I know things. Gayton, what do you know? And then a few days later, his deputy is found at the house of one of the men that General Mkhwanazi has spoken about. What is going on here? Edwin, you're calling us from Rosebank. You are a lawyer yourself. What do you think of this bill?
Hi, Clement. The bill is definitely fair, considering the plight of the women, in fact, most women that have been raising children at home and making sure that the household is intact, while their male partners are the ones prospering in business. So if they have entered into a marriage out of community of property simplicity without any approval, definitely means that when that marriage dissolves, either by death or divorce, that woman will be left high and dry. And if she hasn't really contributed in taking care of the household, I mean, it means that the other partner who had made money or grew in assets will definitely have gotten someone to do that, and then there will be some expenses out there.
Yeah.
So it is definitely fair that the Constitutional Court has ruled that in 2023, and that now Parliament is really looking into the issue to be able to bring that bill into an act. I think it's welcome news.
Yeah.
But most importantly, Clement, people must not think that it's going to be a 50-50 split. No, it's not going to be a 50-50 split. What the court will do will just look into the circumstances of each and every case and then make a judgment based on fair and justifiable. So it is a matter of fair and equity at the end of the day. So the court will be able to treat each and every case differently. Like we say, each and every case has got its own merits. So, yeah, I think that's great news.
So how do the changes affect these antenuptial contracts? How conscious should married people be, or people who want to get married? Must there be, I don't know, if you're going to be at home, must there be a clause that speaks to these non-financial contributions as well, to avoid a situation where after divorce or death, then we go to court and the court must then determine on merit and based on circumstances how much then must be given to the other spouse?
In fact, Clement, for some reason, I think some 3 or 4 months ago, even before this piece of legislation came to the force, some of the clients that I'm assisting have already thought about it, and they have included in their contracts the one which is simplicity out of community.
Okay.
An addendum to say that if the marriage dissolves within a year, I will give my partner, say, 50,000.
Okay.
2 years. So they will tabulate it until down where you can see that these people really consider that their partners are just not there to be pretty faces in the house and take care of children, but they deserve something at the end of the day. And remember, sometimes, Clement, the marriage is not only dissolved by divorce, it's death. And you know from us that, especially black communities, we have big wars between Abumakoti and Abumamazala and all those kind of things.
Yes.
Imagine now when they know that my son married you out of communal property, and we will make sure that you get nothing out of the estate. It's not fair, Clement. So marriage, ANCs will still be there. In fact, lawyers who are drafting ANCs going forward, they must just advise their clients that, look, guys, the game has changed. It's no longer like it's going to be like before. So even if you are marrying out of communal property, simplicity, you must know that the court at the end of the day will be given the powers to do what you call a fair and equitable distribution of the asset.
Okay.
So I welcome it, Clement.
All right, Edwin, thank you so much. And I think you've helped us as a lawyer understand it much better. Edwin calling us from Rosebank. Appreciate it. David, you are in Braamfontein. What do you want to say? Good morning.
Hi, Clement. How are you?
Hey, Tada.
Good, man. Listen, I think in terms of how it's put forward by the court and stuff like that, I think there's so many moving parts to this thing that it's so hard to say what's fair and what's not fair. Because from where it's coming from, and I know the lawyer actually explained it quite well, but when you go through a divorce, there is no agreement that the court can put in place for your spouse to either continue to be nice to you or to, support your kids or to, simple things like kiss you and those type of things. There's no agreement for that. But for the other side, the financial agreement is there. And it's seen as fair for one party, but it's not fair for the other party. So I think fair is neither here nor there. But I think what's key is for most people when they do these things to be able to put those clauses in there. Because in some cases, property is not covered and stuff. So also speaking about how, if the marriage should end, how the property should be divided outside of the actual anti-nuptial agreement. I think that's very important. But also, I don't understand, is it now the court is saying that ladies or partners that get into these type of agreements don't actually read contracts and they don't have contractual capacity to be able to make informed decisions? Or how do they quantify that? Because it still boils down to that I got into this contract knowing
Did you know? Marawatseba, David, or sometimes in many instances, especially with our old, our mothers, grandparents, when they got into, some of them who got into such agreements, they didn't really understand them much. And they ended up staying at home, looking after the kids and making sure that the household is intact. And then when there's a divorce or there's a death, and then you're not getting anything. So I do think that, as you say, the lesson here is as you get into a marriage, you're drafting your contract, make sure you read every single sentence. And as a couple, you're able to protect yourselves. But I do think that there are instances where some people just didn't understand much.
No, agreed.
And the courts are there to assist and come in. That's why they're intervening like this, because they're realizing that there's clearly here been a lack of understanding. David in Braamfontein, thank you. Kabelo, you're in Pretoria. Hi.
Hi, Clement, how are you?
Sure, man. Go ahead.
Good. I'm a lawyer myself as well, and I must say I agree with what Edwin has said.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a couple of points that I'd like to add. One, that it's not going to be a freebie. You'd have under Matrimonial Act Section 9, which talks to forfeiture of estates or assets, rather. So there's going to be a determination. But it's not new. It's not new what we're going to see about the bill. So if you look at the Pension Funds Act, it deals with distribution of the pension money. So you'd have the board that sits and determines who gets what. Even though you've had a nomination or nominees, then the board would look at who was financially dependent on the deceased. So you'd have kids that you did not even mention on your list. Then someone comes and says that, look, this is Carol's son, and it's proved that this is Carol's son. This person has been sending 1,000 a month. So that person is dependent or is financially dependent on the deceased. So the board would then distribute a certain percentage to this particular person.
Yeah.
So I think it's good. It's good. But I was saying that it's not new. It's happening with the pension fund, that those who are financially dependent on the deceased would then get something from the fund. So it's good. It's good for everyone. I think so.
Oh,
right.
Got it. Yeah, Kabelo, thank you so much for your call. I really appreciate it also when we talk about such matters and we've got lawyers who call us and they're explaining these things further. That really helps all of us. So I truly appreciate it. Teenage, I'll start with your call after the break. It's 11 minutes before 10.
Busy mornings, non-stop days? Future Life Smart Food and Smart Food Zero is made to fuel real life. It's high in protein, rich in dietary fiber and low GI, giving you sustained energy to keep going. Packed with 19 vitamins and minerals, it's the smart choice for active people and growing families alike. Enjoy it as a meal or shake. Just mix with water or milk. With 5 delicious flavors, including our new peanut butter, Smart Food is as convenient as it is nutritious. Future Life, smart nutrition for life.
This year, the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival offers you 3 days of the heart and art of jazz from the 26th to the 28th of September across 4 stages at the Saturn Convention Center. Esperanza Spalding, the Baylor Project, Jasmine Horn, Alune Wade, Steve Beatty, Michelle Dengieshelo, Steve Dyer, featuring Amazwi 8 Choir, Gabi Mutuba, the Fisherman Orchestra, and over 50 world-class acts will be expecting you and yours. Take me there. Buy your tickets +1 at Ticketmaster now.
Breaking news. SARS has enhanced the personal income tax return form. It has simpler questions that adapt to your income and deductions based on your answers. Whether you're employed or self-employed, the digital form has built-in guidance and the option to save and finish later. Tax matters, so does your time. File with ease on e-filing or the SARS Mobi app today. Go to sars.gov.za. SARS, at your service.
Formulated from 5,000-year-old Ayurvedic wisdom, refined through decades of modern science. For 95 years, Himalaya Wellness has been the trusted name in herbal care, caring for families in more than 100 countries around the world. Our clinically studied natural formulations, pure herbs, and personal care products are designed to support your health, skin, smile, and your baby's well-being. Bring the healing power of nature into your home. Himalaya Wellness. Live well, live herbal.
Your voice. Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
9 minutes before 10 o'clock.
Hi, Clement. Yeah, it's Kabelo here. I wanted to comment about this issue of Kenny Kunene. If you remember, there was a clip of Gaten McKenzie stating that he is willing to participate in that commission because he knows some of the politicians who are being influenced by these guys. So I'm interested in hearing from him, how is he going to handle this issue? Where one of his right-hand men is associated or found in the house of this Molefe's guy. It will be interesting to hear his view, particularly after that clip that went viral, where he was bragging that he knows that these politicians are influenced and is willing to participate in the commission. Sharp.
Yeah. Teenage, you are in Cosmos City. Good morning. Hello, Teenage.
Hey, how's it going, Clement?
Sure, man. Go ahead.
Clement, you know what? There's no difference between Mukonyane, Mantashi, and Kikawa knowing the Guptas and Bosasa people, and Kenny knowing these people, these guys. These guys are friends. During the night, they meet, they party together. Celebrities, politicians, and thugs, they do all this together. So somebody knows something from EFF, from ANC, from MKP, from PA. They're all friends. So there's nothing dramatic about it. The governor just know what he was doing there, how he's connected. That's it. If we are going to ask about moral issues, we're wasting our time. These people are friends with thugs. That's it. All of them.
All right, teenage in Cosmos City. Yeah, maybe we are going to be shocked. Remember how shocked we were at the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture? The names that were being mentioned there. Oof, yeah, I suspect that we're going to be dealing with the same thing here. When names are going to be mentioned, even of people who are now speaking out. It's people who are now speaking out against these top police officers that have been accused by General Mkhonazi. I think that we're going to be surprised by some of the names that are going to come out at this inquiry.
Good morning, Clement. A good show again, Andrew. I think on the marital review or laws, it's important that the marriage officers, they must be trained properly. And when they do conduct these marriages, they must conduct them. I'm just thinking of the rural people, at home. Do we really understand what the marriage out of community of property, that laws and the community of property, and also guard against after marriage our families jumping in and confusing the whole system. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, Clement. This is Jeremy. I'm listening with interest to what you guys are discussing there. I think if you get married and you specifically say to your wife, look, I would like you to stay at home. I would like you to be a mother to my kids. I'd like you to run the household and generally be a stay-at-home mom. Look, there's nothing wrong with that. But then the onus is also upon the husband to say, look, what I'll do is every month I will pay money into an investment account. I will start a portfolio for you, get a financial advisor involved, and set up the portfolio for that person. Because you've essentially made them not earn any money. Unless they calculate what it costs for a woman to stay at home and run the family and do the fetching and carrying, and then say, okay, this is what I'm worth to you on a monthly basis. And if it's 5,000 or 10,000, well, then that goes into the investment account. It's only fair that it happens that way. This is Jeremy.
Yeah. Father Patrick, you are calling us from Pretoria. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. Thank you for taking my call. I am a Catholic theologian interested in marriage and specialized in marriage. I'm also a marriage officer. And I want to agree, first of all, with the previous note, voice note, which says marriage officers must take note of this. Very important. But I want to say this is going to be a game changer, both for marriage officers, pastors, and even lawyers. Because for a long time, people have been promoting antenuptial contracts, making couples who are preparing for marriage without considering the consequences of this. And so this is going to make all of us to now look back and make people aware of how important for the question you are talking about, the one who loses or one who is on the disadvantage in the marriage. So I want to say counselors will have to really promote and make people aware, and all pastors of different denominations and religions will have to really go into deep and have particular interest on this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Father Patrick Rakeketsi, thank you for your call in Pretoria, 3 minutes before 10.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
Hi, this is Craig from Kempton Park. What an amazing experience, I must say, especially visiting, people behind the scenes. There's a lot of amazing people that we don't know about behind the scenes that's working very hard to serve you, the listener. Very, very impressed with everything that's going on. Fantastic studios, very professional setup, trendy, vibey. It epitomizes everything that this radio station does, and definitely it is the radio station for the people.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
So we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
This year, the Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority, also known as CIRA, is proud to be partnered with 702 Walk the Talk. So look out for the CIRA activation at the finish point if you want to chat about how they contribute to safer communities. CIRA is also actively vetting all contracted private security companies involved in the walk, so you get to the finish line safely and confidently. CIRA, your partner in security and safety at 702 Walk the Talk. Safer homes, safer communities, safer businesses.
Hi. I need balloons.
Sure.
Now, my dog barked. Pretty sure he said party.
Okay.
He was like...
At the Crazy Store, you'll find every excuse to celebrate.
Hi, me again. My houseplant survived another week. Where's your confetti?
And everything you need. Helium, gift wrap, dress up, and more. The Crazy Store. Hey, you never know what you might find. To have a good party.
So, how did it go?
Oh, just perfect. The drive, so comfortable. The panoramic sunroof, my highlight.
But what about the date?
It was nice, but the Jolian Pro, next level.
Sometimes the drive is the best part. The Haval Jolian Pro from 4,299 per month. Visit gwm.coza for T's and C's and book a test drive. Go with more. Go with GWM.
All right, coming up after the news at 10 o'clock, we speak to the Patriotic Alliance. Why did they ask Kenny Kunene to step aside for a month while they investigate? And why are they so confident that he's innocent? You don't want to miss that conversation. It's 10 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. The man arrested in connection with the murder of Ekurhuleni senior auditor Mpho Mafule is expected to make his first appearance in the Kempton Park Magistrates Court today. Mafule was shot on the East Rand while driving home from work earlier this month. The 40-year-old suspect was arrested on Sunday. Alfara Mushwana reports.
Earlier this month, EWN reported that senior Ekurhuleni auditor Mpho Mafule was investigating a massive electricity meter fraud scandal that cost the city more than 2 billion rand. Mafule had just submitted a detailed report and a charge sheet identifying those involved in the fraud and exposing the extent of the financial damage. He was shot on the same day he submitted the report on his way home from a work-related meeting. While one of the men arrested in connection with his murder is appearing in court today, police are searching for another person who is suspected to be involved in the murder. The warrant of arrest has been issued, but it remains unclear if police know the suspect's whereabouts. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
Chairperson of Parliament's Appropriations Committee, Musi Maimane, says he hopes tensions between the two biggest parties in the government of national unity can set their differences aside to finalise the budget process. MPs at the National Assembly will vote on the appropriation bill today, which apportions money to departments. The fiscal framework and division of revenue bills were passed last month. Earlier this week, President Cyril Ramaphosa appeared to have bowed to political pressure to higher education or fire the education of higher department. Minister Nobuhle Nkabane in time to find support with the DA to vote in favour of the appropriation bill. The political infighting between the ANC and the DA has again drawn sharp criticism from other policymakers, accusing the parties of putting politics over bread and butter issues. Maimane says he hopes logic will prevail when the appropriation bill is put to a vote.
I'm really appealing that the sense of national duty at a moment such as this one requires all of us in an imperfect budget. No one is saying this is a perfect budget or a fully funded budget. Yeah. In an imperfect context, we need to be able to get this budget through so that we do the hard yards that change it for next year.
Meanwhile, the MK party, which is the main opposition in Parliament, says it won't support the appropriation bill today for a litany of service delivery failures. Lindsay Tentlinker reports.
The MK party says it will be counting on the so-called Progressive Alliance to band together to reject the appropriation bill and thus budget 2025. Parliamentary Whip Colleen Makubele says there's a glaring disconnect between the budget, government and the people.
They have failed to return the people's money back to the people in the form of tax cuts, gainful employment, meaningful social grants, reliable basic services.
Although the DA has said it will support the appropriation bill following the axing of ANC MP Nobuhle Nkabane as Higher Education Minister, the MK party's parliamentary leader John Shlope says today's vote will be a crucial test for the DA.
Now, the DA has voted against the budget in certain portfolios. We're hoping that sanity will prevail and they will be consistent.
DA leader John Steenhuisen said the MK party was not in a position to lecture it on principles, with 2 MK MPs recently arrested on corruption charges. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And charges of terror against prominent Kenyan activist Boniface Mwangi have been dropped following widespread condemnation. Mwangi has not been slapped, or rather has been slapped with a lesser charge of unlawful possession of ammunition after he appeared in court earlier this week. He was detained at the weekend and accused by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations of facilitating terrorist acts, which he denies. Kenya has seen a wave of deadly protests against President William Ruto and police brutality that have left dozens of people dead. Gold is trading at $3,472.75 an ounce. The rand is at 17.55 to the dollar, 23.76 to the pound, 20.52 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $68.80 a barrel.
Traffic remains very slow on the N3 North between the Yelans interchange and the Kilulis interchange. This is due to a major accident that happened just after Van Buren Road, causing those long queues while travelling on the M1 South out of Sandton. Do expect delays between Grayston Drive and Corlett Drive due to an earlier accident.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures will peak at highs between 17 and 18 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: the man arrested in connection with the murder of Ekurhuleni senior auditor Mpho Mafule is expected to make his first appearance in the Kempton Park Magistrates Court today.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. 702.
We're listening to you. You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
5 minutes after 10 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome. This is the second hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. We are about to get into a conversation now with the spokesperson of the Patriotic Alliance to explain to us what Kenny Kunene told them as leaders of the Patriotic Alliance. Why was he found at the home of one of the key suspects in the murder of DJ Sumbody? So the police found him there, remember, when they went to arrest Katiso Molefe, and Kunene has since claimed that he was just there to accompany a young journalist who was going to do an exclusive interview with Molefe. So we'll speak to Steve Motale in a moment. But at 10:30, remember, we are trying to have a conversation about these 8 ANC Youth League leaders that have been appointed to the boards of Gauteng's public hospitals. I find it weird that the health department in the province doesn't want to do any interviews about this. I found it completely weird. And that's, for me, makes it a little dodgy because they've gone to ground. They don't want to come to talk to us about this. And we're just trying to find out if the people they have appointed, all these 8 ANC Youth League leaders who have been appointed to the boards of these hospitals in Gauteng, actually qualify, actually have the requisite experience. And this was not an exercise of chronism where, because young ANC Youth League says young people need to occupy positions, and they're just thrown and put into such critical boards that are supposed to deal with serious struggles that our hospitals have been dealing with for some time now. So if they've got the requisite skills and they are qualified and there's a fair process that was followed, absolutely That's absolutely fine. But how do we determine that when the Department of Health has gone to ground and doesn't want to come and ask some serious questions about this? We're still going to do the story until they come out. So we're going to talk about this just after 10:30. At 11 o'clock, we'll do our Listener's Choice feature. And today we'll be looking at the child porn case against Meta. Remember, the digital law company has secured a major victory in the battle to protect South African children from digital exploitation. So the Gauteng High Court has granted a consent order compelling Meta, which is a parent company of Instagram and WhatsApp, to take action against child pornography on its platforms. We'll tell you more about this at 11 o'clock. But right now, let's hear that conversation we recorded before we went live this morning with the Patriotic Alliance's spokesperson, Steve Motale.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
702.
Mr. Motale, thank you so much for making time for us. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement, and good morning to your listeners.
Why has Gayton McKenzie taken this decision to suspend his colleague, Kenny Kunene?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, Clement. Let me first put it this way. I wouldn't say it is a suspension. I think it's a 30-day leave of absence. To answer your question directly, the president took decision so that to give an opportunity to Mr. Kunene to clear himself. Remember, in the court of public opinion, people have already found Mr. Kunene guilty, which is not good at all. So for the sake of Mr. Kunene himself and for the party, the president, Mr. Gayton McKenzie, took this decision to put him on leave of absence. And to emphasize, the president made it quite clear that he and all of us in the PA believe in Mr. Kunene's innocence.
Okay. And was this decision taken after consultations with Kenny Kunene?
Yeah. Yes, there was extensive consultation. I was part of that. He took the NEC in his confidence, and he informed us before he went public with his announcement.
Okay. So, and Kenny Kunene is okay with being asked to step down. He's fine with that.
No, he's a fighter. He's taking it with good spirit. He knows he's innocent, and he knows he will be vindicated and cleared by whatever body that is tasked.
But he has accepted this decision of the Patriotic Alliance.
Yes, he has accepted it. He knows he has nothing to hide.
Okay.
He knows he's innocent. Yes.
So what does this entail? Is he going to be asked to step down from politics for a month? Is he going to be, won't be performing his responsibilities as MMC in Johannesburg for a month as well while this investigation unfolds?
No. The president announced that he's removing him from his political party duties as well as his responsibility as the MMC of public roads and transport in the city of Joburg. At the moment, we are engaging our coalition partners with the way forward.
Okay.
And the president will come back to announce as what the way forward is.
Okay. Has Kenny Kunene explained to the president and the leadership of the Patriotic Alliance what he was doing at the home of one of the key suspects in the murder of DJ Sumbody?
Yes, he explained it. What only caught us by surprise was the coincidence of what happened there. But his story, we believe in that story. He informed the president himself. I was aware, right, that this is what is going to be taking place. Clement, you are in the media space yourself. You know how difficult it is for online media platforms to generate revenue. So we identified an opportunity, which is to go for strictly exclusive stories. Now, he identified Mr. Molefe as one of those people who could give us an exclusive story so as to revive that dead publication.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So how did they identify Mr. Molefe as someone to interview? What was the interest here?
Yeah, remember the explosive revelations by Lieutenant General and some. Now, this is the issue that has got the country talking. You have already seen the president, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, already taking action on people implicated in all of this. So we thought that, you know what, this is the big story. It's one of the biggest stories. So he identified Mr. Molefe, who agreed to an interview. Remember when these allegations are made against people, the mainstream media goes with the allegations, and people who are implicated are never given an opportunity to give their side of the story. Now, journalism is about two sides of the story. Now, we and Mr. Kunene thought, you know what, this is an opportunity. Let me speak to people that are implicated.
Okay.
The likes of Kat Matala, who nobody wants to speak to. So that is the opportunity that he identified to resuscitate this publication, which has not been published, because the publication, its strong point was, from its launch, publishing exclusive stories.
Okay. Where is the story then?
No, it couldn't happen because of what happened there, because of the police raid. Right?
So they didn't. This young journalist didn't interview Mr. Molefe. The police arrived
no,
before
at all,
then.
because it was taken away by the police. But the transfer of the publication to a group of youngsters is happening. We hope if he gets bail, the story will be published.
Okay, but you would have to do the interview again, right? Because it didn't happen this time.
Because it didn't happen, but he agreed to an interview. That is why Mr. Kunene was there with a journalist. Now, people have been asking, is it necessary for Mr. Kunene to have accompanied the journalist to the source?
Yeah, I'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm trying to understand. Because this Africa News Global, this news platform is also about exclusives. Why didn't they run the story of the police arresting Mr. Molefe? Because that is an exclusive. At the time, nobody knew about it.
No, the publication is not operational. If you have a look at the website has not been running. So we were going to relaunch it with this exclusive. That was the strategy.
I've got the website here open, and there's a story that was published on the 22nd of July, which is yesterday. So it is operational.
Yes, I'm saying at the time when he was going there, there's not been any exclusive story that was published. And you know what? Social media kills these stories. The raid there itself was already not an exclusive because it was already running on social media.
No, but nobody had...
I'm talking about a pure exclusive story, not breaking news.
But then, help me understand here then. So there's a story here.
The difference between the two.
Yeah, there's a story here on the website about Buti Manamela being appointed as High Education Minister after Nkaba's ousting. That's not an exclusive.
That's not an exclusive.
But it's on your website.
Yes, it's just to keep the website running. I'm talking of operational in terms of an exclusive story. That's not a type of a story that would say it would bring you readership. That's not what I'm talking about.
But do you understand, Mr. Mutale, that if you are arresting someone who is an alleged hit mastermind, that is a big exclusive story. If you are there, if I was a journalist on the ground and police arrive and they're arresting someone like that, I'm running with that immediately before anybody else does.
No, I think you are confusing exclusive with breaking news, right? I think you are confusing the two. That's not an exclusive.
But an exclusive can also be a breaking news story.
Yes, breaking news, which will be followed by everybody thereafter. But exclusive means story that nobody had. How many people had that thing?
Nobody had. We found out News 24 was the first one to officially publish that story.
Now, remember, this is how we run the story. The journalist who was there, remember, Africa News Global is a very, very, very small operation. The journalist who was there was the one to have loaded that thing. So he was also caught up in that mix. That is how it's. We don't have a kind of a newsroom like yourselves and other big publications. The journalist who was there was the one who was supposed to load the story on the website. There was nobody else. That publication is very small.
So he couldn't have loaded the story of the arrest as happened.
He couldn't have loaded the story. And at that time, his phones, Mr. Kunene's phones, were taken by the cops who were investigating any link with the person of interest at that time.
And the journalist's phones?
That is why there was that paralysis.
So the journalist's phone was also taken by the police?
Were also taken.
Until
Mr.
what time?
Kunene
Until
took-
when were they? Because
Mr.
Kunene seems to suggest that everything happened there.
Until they got Mr. Molefe out, and they still were going through. Listen, going through someone else's cell phone is not a 30-second thing. It was a process. It was a very, very long process.
Okay. Who is this young journalist who was with Mr. Kunene?
Well, I don't have the permission from the journalist himself and Mr. Kunene to disclose the identity of the young journalist. We'll do it with time.
Would that be a problem, though, to say here's a young journalist who works for African
Well,
News Global?
It's not going to be much of a problem, but I would love to talk to him. Are you comfortable with me mentioning that you are the guy who was there?
Okay, do you mind if I give you some time, maybe after this interview, to check with them if we can know the journalist?
I can revert
and you
back
can
to the
come
guy.
back to us about
I
that.
can come back to you, but I think you understand it. This is a very, very sensitive matter. I need his permission. He's a young guy. We don't want his reputation to be in tatters.
But he didn't do anything wrong here, remember? He was just caught there. He was being accompanied by Kenny Kunene.
He's a youngster fresh from university. He's introduced to the game. And of course, this is part of it. You have been a journalist yourself. You have gone through all of these things. They do happen.
I've just never been lucky enough to be accompanied to an exclusive story.
I have been accompanied to an exclusive story.
I think
twice I interviewed Mr. Jacob Zuma and Mr. Kunene.
I think Kunene mentioned that he once accompanied you to go and interview Jacob Zuma.
No, he did on 2 occasions.
Okay, so
on 2 occasions.
This Africa, so the Africa News Global, you are saying that the exclusive stories were going to start with Mr. Molefe's story. So
yes, that was the plan, according to Mr. Kunene. Yes, that was the plan.
Okay, who is going to investigate this?
Mr. Kunene, the president announced that he will put together a body of credible lawyers or a law firm that will investigate Mr. Kunene.
Okay, and that they will be investigating that over a period of a month?
Over a period of a month. We're going to put pressure because this is a burning matter.
Okay.
We don't have the luxury of several months or years. No, it can't be.
Yeah.
There's people's reputation at stake here. There are people's life at stake. So it's a big thing to us.
Okay. Did the Patriotic Alliance, was it satisfied with the explanation from Kenny Kunene about his relationship with Mr. Molefe, that he doesn't know him at all?
No. We were satisfied and we believe him. And the president stressed yesterday that we believe 100%.
What explanation did he give you guys as the Patriotic Alliance? How does he know this person?
No. Remember, it was done through a third party who facilitated this whole thing. It was not like Mr. Kunene was speaking to Mr. Molefe himself.
But has he met him before?
Yes, he said he met him at an event somewhere, just a birthday party of somebody. He was under the same roof with him, right? Not that they were sharing a table or anything.
Yeah.
They have been under the same roof and they were introduced as this one. That is, if it's a relationship, but he has been under the same roof with him.
And then was Gayton aware that Kenny Kunene was going to Mr. Molefe's house? Because that's a suggestion that Kenny Kunene has made, that he did inform Gayton about where he was going. And Gayton was okay with that.
No, the president was aware. The president was aware.
So, and he was okay. Like Kenny told him that I'm going to the house of this person who's alleged to be a hit mastermind.
He was 100% aware that he's taking a journalist to go and interview this guy. And we were all looking forward to the big story.
Okay. Mr. Steve Motale, thank you so much for speaking to us. I await your response about the young journalist.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Steve Motale is the national spokesperson for the Patriotic Alliance. Okay, so Steve Motale promised to come back to us. I did say, please go check with the journalist and get the permission so that you tell us who the person is, because that actually helps when we've got someone who's able to corroborate Kenny Kunene's story and he still hasn't come back to us to give us the name of the journalist, or even to come and say he's not going to give us the name of the journalist. So let's wait and see. But the stuff that's not making sense here. First of all, he says the publication is not operational. Thank goodness it was open on my computer here in studio. it was operational. In fact, the last story that they put up was yesterday. So if that's the case, and the story that they put up was not even breaking news, so why not report? I mean, any young journalist who is in a situation like that, where there's an arrest, such a key arrest like that taking place, how do you not break that story? And of course, it's your exclusive. Who else has it? But it wasn't reported. It's still not even on the website, except, of course, what happened with Kenny Kunene, which is quite suspicious. But let's wait and see. Maybe this investigation after a month will answer some questions for us. What do you think is at play here?
Clement. Hey. Sounds. Yeah, you interviewing the guys, but the sounds of liars, the voices of liars. He can't even answer your questions. He can't. Yeah, it's tough. Hey, let it roll. Let it roll. I think we are living in the interesting times. Let it roll. Thank you, Clement. Thank you for your questioning.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
Advocate Dion Poole, what was the complaint against Advocate Chauke by Advocate Shamila Batoy?
Advocate Chauke allegedly delayed or declined to prosecute Richard Ndluli for a murder related to the 1999 death. There was an instance where there was apparent reluctance on his part to prosecute Duzane Zuma for the culpable homicide, and then he withdrew corruption charges against Zizi Kodwa and Jahan McKay.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
This year, the Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority, also known as CIRA, is proud to be partnered with 702 Walk the Talk. So look out for the CIRA activation at the finish point if you want to chat about how they contribute to safer communities. CIRA is also actively vetting all contracted private security companies involved in the walk, so you get to the finish line safely and confidently. CIRA, your partner in security and safety at the 702 Walk the Talk. Safer homes, safer communities, safer businesses.
Smart Steve from Momentum. Hello.
Hey, Smart Steve. Amir here. Listen, man, I got a problem, right?
Okay.
My little princess is turning 18, and now she's got a license and a boyfriend. And you know what these roads and young boys are like at night. Y'all check.
So you're worried about her safety. Just add it to the Momentum app so she can access Help 24/7 with Momentum Safety Alert.
Is that the emergency response version of Curry in a Hurry? Listen, man, Steve. Does my Momentum car insurance give me that?
For sure. Once she's added, she can get help at the touch of a button, no matter whose car she's in.
Free? Mahala? For all that and all?
Yes, for free. Your peace of mind and her safety at no cost.
Oh, Steve, one last thing. Does it come with a boyfriend ejector seat?
Not yet, but I'll mention it to the team. Visit momentum.co.za to get a quote. Momentum Insure, keeping you safe on your journey to success. Momentum Insure is an authorized non-life insurer and FSP. Standard SMS rates and T's and C's apply. FSP 22789.
Choose Checkers, SA's #1 value for money supermarket, and save on Clover Crush 100% fruit juice blend, 1.5 litre for $39.99 each. Bonita or Parmalat salted butter, 500 grams for $74.99, and Baby Soft White 2-ply or Supreme Quilts toilet rolls, 18-pack, any two for R249. Valid until this Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
The 702 Walk the Talk is happening on Sunday, and we can't wait to walk with you on this awesome family day out. But before we hit the streets, you need your walk numbers. So if you choose to collect yours at DP World Wanderers Stadium in Joburg, you can do so this Thursday, the 24th, and Friday, the 25th, between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. If you selected the Union Buildings in Pretoria as your collection venue, walk numbers will be ready for collection only on Saturday, the 26th, between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Remember, you must go to the collection venue you selected when entering. The 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park Heritage Site in the city of Tshwane. See you on Sunday.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
702. Let's walk the talk.
27 after 10 o'clock. Katiso, you're calling us from Sunning Hill. You want to respond to that conversation with Steve Mutale. Hi.
Hi, Clement. You can't allow two strangers at your house. So my question is that the middleman sent location to the journalist. I don't understand that. Like, it's bizarre what this guy could have just said, look, associate of this guy, but I wasn't aware in, the other deeper things that he's been involved in. There's nothing wrong. Politicians are human beings.
Yeah.
Right? You can have friends. But I think they're just making this thing worse. By him going on a media tour, he's just making this thing worse.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it looks like there's been some contradictions in some of the stories he tells. But yeah, let's see again what this investigation will produce. Sipho, you're in Honeydew. What do you think?
Hi, Clement.
Sure.
Yeah, no, mine is it's about an interview that was conducted by Vuyomvoko on Newsroom Africa with Kenny Kunene.
Yeah.
He asked two pertinent questions. We all asked two pertinent questions. The first one was whether did Kenny relate what actually transpired at the gentleman's house during the arrest. And his answer was that yes, he had a discussion with him. And the second question was, what did Gayton say about that? And he said, no, Gayton was okay and then was understanding. But now the turnaround to then thereafter suspending, it raises so many questions.
They're not calling it suspension, Sipho. So Gayton's views have not changed. So Gayton still believes that Kenny Kunene is innocent. So Gayton is doing is to maybe satisfy you as a member of the public, should you be concerned that there's an MMC who may have, crazy relations with criminals. So from the Patriotic Alliance point of view, they still believe that he's innocent. They're just doing this.
No. But here's the thing. The thing is whether when he said Gayton understood, was he telling the truth or not?
He was. That's what the spokesperson of the Patriotic Alliance confirmed. Because I asked the very question but Kenny Kunene says Gayton knew and he was okay with it. And the spokesperson says, yes, that's correct. So again here, let's not be confused by the action Patriotic Alliance has taken as if they think there's something weird with Kenny. No. They're behind him. In fact, they're saying we know he is innocent. We're just saying we want the lawyers. They'll tell us which lawyers they've gotten to investigate this, but they believe that he is innocent because he told them before he even went to this home, and Gayton was okay with it. And as if you've picked up, this organization, what is it called? Africa News Global, this online news platform, is not just owned by Kenny. It's clearly owned by Gayton or maybe even the Patriotic Alliance as a whole, because the spokesperson says, it's not operational, but then it's here. I can see the website. Or maybe what he means is it's not operational in terms of the exclusive stories. Yeah, save that interview because we may want to come back to it at some point when we probably get some contradictory information. Let's wait and see. It's 10:31. Sviso, hi.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. South Africa's consumer price inflation has increased to 3% in June. This comes after it held steady at 2.8% in April and May. Statistics South Africa says the annual rate for food and non-alcoholic beverages reached a 15-month high last month. The man arrested in connection with the murder of Ekurhuleni senior auditor Mpho Mafule is appearing for the first time in the Kempton Magistrates Court today since he was arrested. Mafule was shot on the East Rand while driving home from work earlier this month. The 40-year-old suspect was handcuffed on Sunday. And the chairperson of Parliament's Appropriations Committee, Musi Maimane, says he hopes tensions between the two biggest parties in the Government of National Unity can set their differences aside to finalise the budget process. MPs at the National Assembly will vote on the appropriation bill today, which apportions money to departments. Earlier this week, President Cyril Ramaphosa appeared to have bowed to political pressure to fire Higher Education Minister Nobuhle Nkabane in time to find support with the DA to vote in favour of the appropriation bill. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling on the N3 North, we're still experiencing heavy delays between the Yelands interchange and the Kilulis interchange. This is due to an earlier accident, about a 10-minute hold-up at this particular moment. While traveling on the N3 North towards the Baklu interchange, another accident reported near Marlborough Drive. It's causing a slight backup coming out of London Road. There's also queuing traffic along the N1 North. This is just as you approach the Deepcliff interchange, and that's due to the roadworks that are taking place along this route. And speaking of roadworks, we've got more taking place along the R21 South near the R25 turnoff, and they will definitely slow you down if you're heading towards Kempton Park. And if you're heading towards Midrand, be on the lookout for an accident reported on the N1 South right near Samrand Avenue. Delays coming out of the Brackfontein interchange. Please be on the lookout there and drive with care. We'll have more updates for you at the top of the hour.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What was Kenny Kunene doing at Katiso Molefe's house? What is his explanation?
Mr. Kunene told me that he was there to escort a young journalist. Through his network had managed to set up an exclusive interview with Mr. Molefe, and he was guiding this young journalist and playing the role of intermediary. He insists that he has no relationship with Mr. Molefe. He is not known to him. They are not friends. But nonetheless, he was inside Mr. Molefe's property when the police swooped.
Jeff Wicks.
The Midday Report.
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702. Life has its own rhythm, but muscle and joint pain may upset the beat.
Noflex Gel.
Trust Noflex Gel's triple action formula to target muscle pain, reduce inflammation, and help numb the affected area.
Noflex Gel.
So, get your beat back and reclaim the rhythm of life.
Noflex Gel.
Beat the pain with Noflex Gel and higher strength Noflex Gel Fort. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional.
Your mom was a tough woman, the no-nonsense type.
Don't you feel like you're crying?
She made you cut your hair, eat your veggies, clean your room.
Don't you feel like crying?
She nagged you, grounded you, and brought you down to earth.
Don't you feel like you could crying?
But she was also the one who made your house a home.
Don't you feel like crying?
Now imagine buying her a house of her own.
Oh, yes!
Invest early. You'll be so happy you did. Coronation. Trust is earned. Coronation is a registered FSP.
Can you hear that? That's the sound of someone discovering value cement at only R84.90. And yes, that's a free cappuccino while their paint is expertly mixed at 10% off. They've entered a wild world of unbelievable DIY deals. And frankly, they can't believe their luck. Join us from 17 July to 3 August for Chamberlain's famous for superb value promotion, packed with savings on DIY, outdoor and building supplies. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
702 and Corporates That Care with Bata are talking about Bata Children's Program.
We've run school donations, volunteer days. We have about 82 people in our head office in KZN. They frequently go down to the Malvern Children's Home. The Malvern Children's Home is a home for orphans that we've adopted basically in the KZN region. We've assisted them with jungle gyms, water tanks, stationary libraries. We've built a library for them, as mentioned. Unfortunately, the Malvern's Children's Home has a R1 million debt, water and electricity debt.
Sure.
So we've created a GoFundMe page, and a portion of the proceeds from our Mandela Day shoe sales will go towards this cause. So when corporates choose Toughies for their Mandela Day giving, they're not just buying the school shoes, they're helping children keep their home running.
From jungle gyms to school supplies and life-changing donations, Bata is building brighter futures. Visit bata.co.za to learn more. 702. Let's walk the talk. Your voice.
Your questions.
Your morning radio with Clement Manyathela.
This is 702.
It's 24 minutes before 11 o'clock. We continue with the conversation we started in the previous segment about Kenny Kunene being found at the home of one of the key suspects in the murder of DJ Sumbody. I'll play more of your WhatsApps, take more of your calls as well, on YouTube as well. I'll take some of your comments there. Sibalum Kulu says, Clement, it's the first time I'm streaming you. Your cheese scope is blinging. Focus on content, please, when you're watching on YouTube. My Chiscop, yeah, it is blinking today, but you'll complain in the next couple of days that it's not. So, yeah. If you want to watch and listen to the show at the same time, you can go to the 702 YouTube page. So we spoke to the Patriotic Alliance spokesperson, Steve Mutale, right, who's told us, why they believe that Kenny Kunene is innocent, and they explained this investigation that they are going to start, led by independent lawyers who will come back to us after a month to tell us if Kenny Kunene has been found wanting here. Now, here's something else that's also important around this gentleman that Kenny Kunene was found at the house of. Remember, the KZN Provincial Commissioner, Ntlanhla Mkhwanazi, alleged that the then Hawks head, Godfrey Lebeya, had actually dispatched a team to the home of Molefe a couple of months ago to stop his arrest. So we've invited the former Hawks head, Godfrey Lebeya. Just a couple of weeks ago, he was here in studio with us as he was preparing to go and finish his term as the Hawks head. We've got him back now on the line. Mr. Lebeya, thank you so much for making time for us. Good morning.
Good morning, sir, and good morning to your listeners.
So the provincial commissioner of the police in KwaZulu-Natal claims that when they wanted to arrest this KT Molefe gentleman, you dispatched members of the Hawks to get to the house and stop the arrest. Is that the case? Where did you send members of the Hawks to the home of Mr. Molefe?
Yeah, let me explain it in this way. The members of the Hawks were never dispatched to go and stop the effecting of the arrest. That is the first statement that I want to make. Then I come to indicate how the members of the Hawks found themselves at the address of this individual. On the day of the 6th of December 2024, the DPCI was having its annual national awards at Diep en die Berg in Pretoria. While we were there, I received a call from a person who is a source. It is a source that I will not mention his name. At some stage, if it becomes necessary, he might have to be called to come and testify before the commission if that takes off. But that is, that we don't reveal sources, other call them whistleblowers and the like. So I received the information, the call from this individual who is not the one that was to be arrested. That was 15 hours 43 minutes. The first 15:43 I missed a call. Then later 15:43 I answered the call and he communicated for 2 minutes. From there, after that 2 minutes, then 15:49 I called the divisional commissioner of the National Priority Crime Operations for 1 minute, because this individual have indicated that there are people who are at a particular address of his friend, and they say that they have been sent there by the national head of the DPCI, which is myself. I was surprised because I don't send people to go and do the raiding. I will normally assign operators to go and do this work. Then that is when I speak to the divisional commissioner and say that there is this message that I'm getting. Can we attend to it? So at 15:49, I called the divisional commissioner and give him this information. 1 minute. By 1500 hours 51, I call this individual. We speak for 16 seconds. I indicate that I have assigned the people. And at 15:51 still, he sent me the address where the incident is taking place, because we didn't know where this place is. So he sent this address where the incident is taking place. Still at 15:51, after sending that, a minute later, 15:52, I forward the address to the divisional commissioner, who is supposed to operationalize this. By 15:53, which is a second later, he sent the name of the person who is at the address. And at 15:55, then the divisional commissioner is asking me any contact number when we get there, General. So he's asking me so that I clarify, so that they know where they are supposed to be going and who to contact when they arrive there. At 16:08, this informant that provided this information, he sent the registration of cars, because he said that the cars that are at the scene are high-powered vehicles, which are not normal for the Hawks to be utilizing. So they are big cars.
Okay.
He sent the registration of one of the cars. So at 16:09, he clarified, he sent a message and say, that is the car registration of the people who are at the scene. So by 17:42, the divisional commissioner now is forwarding a message to me and say that the message read that I spoke to Captain so-and-so, we will not mention the name at this stage, on a video call, and confirm J51 operation, but deny mentioning General Lebeya's name. So this is a message that is forwarded by a brigadier who is in charge of this Tom's team, members of the Tom's team that have gone there.
So,
and then he's informing the divisional commissioner that no, the people who are there, he spoke with them on video call. They confirm that this is a legitimate operation. There is such a warrant.
So Lieutenant General, quickly, so that we don't get lost here. When the Hawks members then got to this address, as it was forwarded to them, what did they do there? Because you're saying that the divisional commissioner confirmed that this is a legitimate operation. So when the members of the Hawks arrive there to find these police officers, what do they do?
Yes, this confirmation comes from those members who are at the scene. Remember that the divisional commissioner is not at the scene. He have to receive this information from the team that has been dispatched, and he receive it from the brigadier who is in charge of that team. So the brigadier himself is also not at the scene. So we are receiving report from the two members who are at the scene, who obviously there is confirmation that no, they are legitimate members.
So the Hawks then didn't send members, didn't send officers there?
Two members from the Hawks were sent there.
Okay.
It is these two members who went there, a captain and another one, that confirmed that yes, there are people here. They did not enter inside the yard or inside the house because those who were doing the operation did not allow them to do that.
Okay, so got it. So they confirmed that it's a legitimate operation, and they didn't stop them from going ahead.
Operation.
Okay. So the source who called you, what interest does that person have in this matter? Is it only because they're friends of Molefe, or do they have any other interest in this matter?
I do not know their relationship. Firstly, I don't even know this Molefe. I never heard about him before. So it's not one of the famous names that when a person mentioned it, one would have picked it up. So I don't know what is his relationship with this individual. it is something that this person himself can indicate. I just took it that they are general friends. But to us, we just took this is an information from somebody who has been providing information in the past. It's not the first time that he's providing the information.
But then he's also friends with this man who was about to be arrested, and he has a relationship with the police because he's given them information before.
The informant, all the people in South Africa, those who want to fight crime from time to time, provide information. The fact that they might be closely related to criminals is something that we will not be knowing from the word go. So, yes, he provided the information to us, which in the past we had to work on it. And obviously, I can't be revealing the nature of the information that he provided.
But this man has provided information before that was credible to the police.
Yes.
And this time around, his friend was about to be arrested, and he provided false information to the police because he claims that the people who are here are claiming to be from the Hawks. And when you sent people there, they went there and they said, no, that is not really the case.
Yeah, what I can't say who is not telling the I can't judge who is not telling the truth here. What we got was that this person, the officer in charge of the corporation, the captain, indicated that he never mentioned that I have sent him. So it means that he denies that he has mentioned that he comes from the Hawks. He denies that he has been sent by me. Remember that in the DPCI, we have been handling 32 cases of people who have been pretending to be from the Hawks when they are not from the Hawks. So whenever somebody is saying that he is from the Hawks, we quickly dispatch a team to go and check, verify as to whether who is that person. You will recall that we have effected arrest on some of the people, including a police officer from crime intelligence who was pretending to be a lieutenant colonel from the Hawks when he is not a lieutenant colonel, when he was a warrant officer from crime intelligence. His co-perpetrator was convicted and sentenced. By the time I left the office, I think he was still appearing in court. You will recall an individual that was arrested closer to the time of my retirement, where he was saying that he is Lieutenant General Lebeya. Myself, I went to see him at court and realized that he is not me.
Got it.
But he has been stealing from people. So when individuals pretend to be from the Hawks, we can't close for
you have to act.
And not attend.
Here's a quick question.
That's why we have to go there.
Just a quick question. I hear that. Makes sense, Lieutenant General. Are you able to say if Mr. Mokhotsi, who has been mentioned by Mkhwanazi, was not the interested person here who gave you the call?
No, he is not.
Okay.
It's not that one. The one that has given me a call actually also visited our office to bring some of the informants to come and share with us. It is neither Mokhotsi, it is not that Molefe. It's none of those.
But you're willing to provide those names to the inquiry should that be required?
Yes, I'm willing to provide to the inquiry when that time comes. And I believe that the person himself will volunteer to go and provide that information.
All right, got it. Lieutenant General Godfrey Lebeya, thank you for speaking to us. He's the former Hawks head. Oh, my goodness. What is going on? This home of this man, Molefe, is just one. You find a politician there with a young journalist who's supposed to do an exclusive, and the next thing, when you remember what Mkhwanazi said, there were Hawks people that were sent there, but no, they were not really sent to stop the investigation. But there's a friend of this man who, wait for it, happens to be an informant for the SAPS. And now suddenly his friend is being arrested? So an informant of the SAPS is friends with this chap who was one of the key suspects in the murder of DJ Sumbody. Oh, make it make sense to me. It's 8 minutes before 11.
Dear Journal, day 3049 of trying to be an adult. I still haven't bought a recycling bin, so there's a mountain of cans in my kitchen that could collapse at any moment. Anyway, what's that saying about your home being a reflection of your mental state?
Got evicted from the family home? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's like 570 Rand a month, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
From 24 to 27 July, Decorex Joburg returns to the Sandton Convention Center, now spanning 5 halls. Explore over 300 brands, shop exclusive show specials, and discover the latest in interiors, kitchens, bathrooms, and luxury finishes. Experience live interactive demos, expert-led talks, and the Handmade Africa Design Market. There's something for every style, space, and home. Book your tickets now at decorex.co.za or at the door.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za. You're with Clement Manyathela.
702. Let's walk the talk.
All right, let's wrap up this hour with some of your WhatsApp voice notes.
Hi, Clement. Doesn't Kenny Kunene have a job with the city of Joburg? So, at the very least, someone who's being funded by taxpayers' money is now going and moonlighting, running alternative businesses. It's absolutely ridiculous just on that basis, and he must go.
Clement, this is Sifu from Joburg South. I think this gentleman is being dicey. Kenny on News Africa and on SABC clearly stated he offered the phone to the police and they refused to take it. But he insisted on showing them that this Molefe's number is not on his phone. So for him to say the police took the phone, went through the phone for a long period, meh. And also he's been so defensive and argumentative. Instead of listening to your questions, he interjects every time you want to ask a question or make your statement. Meh.
Clemente. Aye. No, this guy, I know. This guy is not telling the whole truth. He's trying to spin a story here. The source. This source guy is the one who's controlling this police behind closed doors. Who is the source? Who is the source? Is it Kenny Kunene? No, man, this guy is covering up something. Even if I'm not wise with the intelligence stuff, but I can hear something's fishy here. No, something fishy here. He's not telling us the truth. This story is not adding up. He must just come up with another story. This one, it's not make sure.
Yo. Don't give us a headache, where imagine the source now is Kenny Kunene. That would be fascinating. Yeah, this source story, hey? Who is the source? And why is this source friends with one of the key suspects in the murder of DJ Sumbody? And the same person has been providing information to the police. And they do trust him clearly, because when he told them that, there are people here who claim to be from the Hawks dispatched members of the Hawks. So there's a relationship here clearly that exists between the source and the Hawks. Who is the source?
Clement, in my own view, I think the
that former Hawks head is not telling the truth. I mean, why would an informant, a normal citizen, be having a cell phone number of a high Hawks head? It doesn't make sense. In my own view, we know who called him, and they were stopping an arrest of Mr. Molefe. Heads are really gonna turn. I suggest that you stop this interview because he's also implicating himself on this.
Now, we want them to implicate themselves. No, you know what? One of the things I've learned is do these interviews when the stories are also still fresh and keep them very close to you, because trust me, I've seen this several times. When we interviewed Tabile Yoka, it happened the same way. We constantly went back to that interview. So sometimes, and I bet you these conversations we've had today may come in very handy in the months to come. I promise you, my friends. Allow people to just go in and dig that hole for themselves. I'm not saying that the former Hawks head is lying. I have no reason to believe that he's lying. All I'm saying is something doesn't make sense here. Why is there so much interest around the home and the person of Molefe? Who is he? Who's got friends who are informants to the police and have been having close relations with police and have given them information before? Who is he who somehow also... I wonder if that informant is the one who then called Kenny Kunene to bring this young journalist. Who knows? But there's something happening here. And I think in the next coming days, we'll probably know what's popping. RC on the YouTube page, watching us on YouTube, says, Clement, Katiso Molefe is a lonely man, shame. Nobody seems to know him. Yeah, everybody says, Angmazi. Well, let's wait for that inquiry that the president announced. That is going to be fascinating. Get your popcorns ready, my friends.
It all starts with FNB Private. With secure, easy payments for a hassle-free overseas holiday. Tap, swipe, or go digital with your FNB Visa cards. Earn rewards when using your FNB credit card or global account debit and virtual card. You can even fund your global account on the FNB app while traveling. Make the most of every moment. Unlock invaluable with FNB Private. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider. TCs, earn rules and limits apply.
From 24 to 27 July, Decorex Joburg returns to the Sandton Convention Center, now spanning 5 halls. Explore over 300 brands, shop exclusive show specials, and discover the latest in interiors, kitchens, bathrooms, and luxury finishes. Experience live interactive demos, expert-led talks, and the Handmade Africa Design Market. There's something for every style, space, and home. Book your tickets now at decorex.co.za or at the door.
Of course you could take the lift just one floor up. Or you could grab the new Berry Blue sports drink from Aquila Vive and get moving. Blue has never tasted so good. Bursting with bold berry flavor, packed with electrolytes and vitamins, and free from colorants. Aquila Vive sports and power drinks. Let's move.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. South Africa's consumer price inflation increased to 3% in June. This comes after it held steady at 2.8% in April and May. Statistics South Africa says the annual rate for food and non-alcoholic beverages reached a 15-month high in last month. Stats SA Chief Director for Price Statistics, Patrick Kelly.
Meat, and particularly beef, continues to be the main driver of food inflation. Beef prices spiked for a third successive month, with high annual and monthly increases recorded for stewing beef, mince and steak.
The man arrested in connection with the murder of Ekurhuleni senior auditor Mpho Mafule is expected to make his first appearance in the Kempton Park Magistrates Court today. Mafule was shot on the East Rand while driving home from work earlier this month. The 40-year-old suspect was arrested on Sunday. Alfara Mushwana reports.
Earlier this month, EWN reported that senior Ekurhuleni auditor Mpho Mafule was investigating a massive electricity meter fraud scandal that cost the city more than 2 billion rand. Mafole had just submitted a detailed report and a charge sheet identifying those involved in the fraud and exposing the extent of the financial damage. He was shot on the same day he submitted the report on his way home from a work-related meeting. While one of the men arrested in connection with his murder is appearing in court today, police are searching for another person who is suspected to be involved in the murder. The warrant of arrest has been issued, but it remains unclear if police know the suspect's whereabouts. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
Chairperson of Parliament's Appropriations Committee, Musi Maimane, says he hopes tensions between the two biggest parties in the Government of National Unity can set their differences aside to finalise the budget process. MPs at the National Assembly will vote on the appropriation bill today, which apportions money to departments. Earlier this week, President Cyril Ramaphosa appeared to have bowed to political pressure to fire Higher Education Minister Nobuhle Nkabane in time to find support with the DA to vote in favour of the appropriation bill. Maimane says he hopes logic will prevail when the bill is tabled or put before the vote.
I'm really appealing that the sense of national duty at a moment such as this one requires all of us in an imperfect budget. No one is saying this is a perfect budget or a fully funded budget. Yeah. In an imperfect context, we need to be able to get this budget through so that we do the hard yards that change it for next year.
Nawukayam Dambo takes a look at how Parliament approves the national budget.
Every February, the Minister of Finance presents a package of budget documents to Parliament. In the past, it's been a largely seamless process, with the ANC seats enough to pass all the bills, even when the opposition rejected some of them. After some hiccups in the initial budget speech, the fiscal framework was approved with the DA's buy-in almost 2 months ago. After the Division of Revenue Bill came tensions between the DA and ANC over Andrew Whitfield being axed as Deputy Trade Minister. This impasse led to the DA once again putting out its bargaining chips, calling for ministers implicated in corruption to be fired. While Higher Education Minister Nobuhle Nkabane is out, Human Settlements Minister Thembi Simelane remains. The DA says Nkabane's firing is sufficient for it to back the budget today. What happens in the next few hours will likely be another defining moment for the Government of National Unity and the country. Nogukanyam Dambo, Eyewitness News.
And the world's top courts will today deliver a seminal ruling laying out what legal obligations countries have to prevent climate change. It's the biggest case ever heard at the International Court of Justice, with experts saying the judge's opinion could reshape climate justice with major impacts on laws around the world. The Pacific island nation of Vanuatu spearheaded the push for a court opinion amid growing frustration at sluggish progress in UN climate negotiations. The United Nations has tasked the 15 judges at the ICJ, a UN court that adjudicates disputes between nations, to answer two fundamental questions. Gold is trading at $3,472.75 an ounce. The rand is at 17.55 to the dollar, 23.76 to the pound, 20.52 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $68.80 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we still have got delays on the N3 North between the Geldenes interchange and the Kilulis interchange due to a major accident scene that's causing about a 20-minute hold up between these 2 points. Please try to avoid if you're heading towards areas like Germiston, Edenville, or even Alexandra. Speaking of Alex, we've got an accident reported on the N3 North. It happened just before Marlborough Drive, delays from London Road.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures will peak at highs between 17 and 18 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: South Africa's consumer price inflation increased to 3% in June.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Choose the 8 kilometer for those walking strong, the 6.7 kilometer in honor of Mandela Month, or the 4 kilometer for families and first timers in 702's Walk the Talk. Tickets on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Oh my goodness. 7 minutes after 11 o'clock. I'm just going through your messages on YouTube, on the YouTube page for those of you watching us there, on the WhatsApp line, but also your tweets as well. Someone says, Clement, after listening to these interviews, especially from the Hawks, Rwanda might as well invade us. Garena national security. It is really concerning, guys. Also, I'm just replaying back now what the general said. Do informants call the big bosses of law enforcement directly, or do they call captains? So what I mean is, if I'm an informant, like, do I have a relationship with the National Police Commissioner or the Hawks head, or do I have a relationship with like a captain, like an investigator who is part of the SAPS, who is part of the Hawks? How does it work? Yeah, but something is up, guys. Something is up, and this is not cool, because I'm worried about our national security. I am so worried about our security. And as I said before, these fights that you see, don't just look at things at face value. There are bigger fights that are unfolding behind the scenes. And these latest developments, for me, are a further indication of that. So we've heard from the Hawks head. We've heard from the Patriotic Alliance as well. Let's see how the story will be developing in the next couple of days. Someone on the YouTube page makes a comment about the bag in studio. Clement, are you traveling? Yeah, the bag in studio is here because I was at the gym and I didn't bring my car to work today. So I went to the gym first. That's why you see a bag here. That's the thing about YouTube here. When you can watch and listen to us at the same time, there are now questions about, why do you have a black pen? Why are you dressed like that? What is that bag there next to you for? Interesting. It's 10 minutes now after 11 o'clock.
Burning questions. Insightful answers. Listener's Choice with Clement Manyathela.
So, Listener's Choice is a feature that we do every single Wednesday after the news at 11 o'clock. And it's an opportunity for you to tell us what you want us to discuss on the show. Maybe something that happened, something you picked up over the weekend, something we spoke about before on the show but not extensively, and you want us to go back to it, or you want us to talk about a subject matter we've never touched on. You can just send us an email on cm@702.co.za. That's cm@702.co.za. And that is where you can tell us what topic you want us to discuss, and we'll bring in the relevant experts to talk about it. Today, we're talking about the child porn case against Meta. One of our listeners has asked that we just delve deeper into this. And if you maybe haven't picked this up, the digital law company, right, which is led by legal expert Emma Sadlier, has secured a major victory in the battle to protect South African children from digital exploitation. So after a 2-week legal fight, the Gauteng High Court granted a consent order compelling Meta, which is a parent company of Instagram and WhatsApp, to take action against child pornography on its platforms. So Meta has now committed to removing harmful content involving children, disclosing the identities of offenders, and working closely with the digital law company for the next 2 years via a fast-track hotline. And I think this is a groundbreaking case because it marks, if I'm not mistaken, the first time that a global tech giant has legally agreed to such terms in South Africa. So South African parents with preteen or teenage children can breathe a sigh of relief thanks to this court decision that may protect their children from pornography. Do you know what your children do on their phones? And how do you protect them from pornographic material? Because what we are seeing children getting involved in, even when it's shaming other children, it's really, really concerning. Emma Sadlier is the founder of the digital law company, joining us on the line. Emma, thank you for making time for us. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement, and thank you so much for talking about this.
I mean, it's a groundbreaking case. Let's start from the beginning. What sparked this particular case against Meta? What happened?
Well, It really is a groundbreaking case, and as much as this particular case was sparked by direct messages I received a week prior to us getting the court order, it's actually a court order that is 10 years in the making, because this is an issue that I've been dealing with for a long time, and that is, how do we get these big tech giants to A, be accountable in South African law, and B, how do we protect children, and particularly child victims of online harms, if we have no idea who's perpetrating those harms? So how this case started was that Friday, 10 days ago, I was sitting at my desk and I started receiving direct messages from children who were contacting me in absolute desperation to say that they had been named and shamed and sometimes even leaked their private pictures and videos on various Instagram accounts and WhatsApp channels. And that was when I started jumping around trying to get to the bottom of this issue and started trying to report that those accounts and to deal with anyone and everyone I knew at Meta to try and help these children.
So basically, there are groups, WhatsApp groups, where there are children that get added there, and then sometimes there's pornographic material that is posted there that may sometimes involve teenagers or young people in schools. And then is there someone who's sitting somewhere and posting this kind of material, or members of that WhatsApp group have also the authority to post?
Yeah, so let me just explain to you the big issue, and that is that we're not dealing with a WhatsApp group. So, Clement, you and I know about the WhatsApp chats that we're on, the WhatsApp groups, which can be an absolute pain, to be honest, and an absolute nightmare in terms of how much content is circulated. But to be honest with you, the WhatsApp groups are not my concern. WhatsApp groups are limited to 1,024 participants, and there is identifying information. So you know who the admin of the WhatsApp group is, you know who the other members of the group are, the content of the chat is encrypted. It's a much safer part of WhatsApp than the part of WhatsApp that we've been dealing with. Now, the part of WhatsApp that this case turns on is the part that is called a WhatsApp channel. So if you open up your WhatsApp now, Clement, you go to the bottom left, it says updates. Now that's the little tab that you'll press to see all of your friends' status updates, their stories, that kind of thing. Now just below that, there's a section that says channels. Now you can press the explore button and you can search anything on that platform. You can search anything you might be interested in. You can follow the Real Madrid WhatsApp channel, for example, if you're a Real Madrid fan. Indeed, 35 million people are participants of that WhatsApp channel. There's no limit. So whereas a WhatsApp group is limited to 1,024 people and is encrypted and there's identifying information, a WhatsApp channel has no size limit. So we see content being circulated, disseminated to millions of people at the press of a button, and there's zero identifying information. So if you open up any of those WhatsApp channels that are suggested to you, you'll see you can only see three things. First, the name of the WhatsApp channel. Second, the timestamp, the date stamp of when it was created. And third is how many people are following that channel. So on that day, when I started getting these DMs, things called shade room accounts. And for the first week of doing any media about this case, I didn't mention the term shade room because I didn't want anyone going to look for shade room accounts because the content was so illegal. I will mention the name now because I am confident that we've managed to get most, if not all of them, deleted. And where there are a few popping up, Meta, I can tell you, is complying with the court order and taking them down very quickly. There was a new shade room I alerted them to yesterday using this hotline that they've created for me, and it was down within 30 minutes. So that was very, very satisfactory.
Sure.
But these WhatsApp channels that were being created for the sole purpose of throwing shade on kids, humiliating them, degrading them, sending private sexual photos and videos of them in the context of them sort of being leaks, we're garnering 20,000 followers within a matter of hours. They would circulate the most horrific content. And then if WhatsApp closed the channel or if the channel owner deleted the channel, they would just pop up with another channel, which is why we said to Meta and indeed to WhatsApp LLC, which is the company that runs WhatsApp, that unless you tell us who's behind these accounts, we're just going to be playing whack-a-mole for the rest of our lives, because we shut it down one place and they just pop up as, so where we shut down Shade Room 1, then they popped up as Shade Room 2. Where we shut down Shade Room Durban, they popped up as Shade Room Cape Town.
My
You know, it was just relentless. And the reality is that this content was being circulated to, I would say, 100,000 children in a matter of seconds because of this functionality of a WhatsApp channel. Now, the issue with the WhatsApp channel, Clement, is that you can't opt out of them. So when I first found out about this, and to be honest, I'm in this space, I should have known better, but I posted a video saying, please check which channels your children are following on WhatsApp. But the problem is, I can go explore on WhatsApp. I can put in some search term like horny girls, get 18,000 results of WhatsApp channels I can follow. And I can go and look at all of the content sent on that WhatsApp channel without electing to follow the channel, which means I'm not going to get alerts going forward, but all the content sent historically is still available to me.
Oh, my goodness,
so that, for
Emma.
me, makes the platform of WhatsApp absolutely inappropriate for children of any age. At the moment, WhatsApp has an age restriction of 13. If they're going to provide a platform for mass dissemination, then they need to do a whole lot better in terms of making sure that that content that's being disseminated on the platform is suitable for children of 13 years old, which frankly it isn't.
Sure. Yeah, this is so scary. This is really scary. So the internal reporting tools that are provided by these platforms, you were not able, as you say, you tried to shut down this and then the other one pops up. So you couldn't fight this by using the internal reporting tools provided by this platform. So what has Meta agreed to do now, and what legal avenues does this open up for the victims?
Absolutely. Well, I do want to just pick up what you said about the reporting tools, because most social media platforms, and I'm afraid we've all had the reason to report an account, right? Usually they ask you, okay, well, what kind of content are you reporting? What is the reason for your reporting? Are you reporting because it's hate speech or defamation or bullying? Or is it child sexual abuse? Is it human trafficking, which of course should be fast-tracked and elevated? With a WhatsApp channel, your only option is to say report. That's it. Now, I reported channels, and 4 days later, those channels were still available, and not just available, but incredibly active. 1,000 photos and videos of children being shared a day. So the reporting tool proved totally unhelpful and not fit for purpose. If you report a channel if you report an account on Instagram or Facebook, they do have that breakdown of reporting categories, which is far preferable to what the WhatsApp situation is. So now we've got this court order, Clement. So what happened is that we first got a court order late on Monday night last week, which said that that Meta had to delete various channels. At that stage, there were about 30 Instagram accounts and WhatsApp channels, and they had to ban the user who was creating this content, and they had to hand over identifying information. Meta made some progress in deleting some of the accounts, but certainly didn't hand over any identifying information or banning any users. And for that reason, late on Wednesday night, after hours, we brought a contempt of court application. And in that application, which is basically an order saying, you naughty boys, you haven't listened to the court order, you haven't complied with what you were supposed to do, so we're going to take steps. And what we wanted to do, well, we didn't want to do it, but it was the only way to get their attention, was to ask for the court to issue an order saying that one of the key employees of Meta Johannesburg would be imprisoned for 30 days or until they complied. And that got their attention. That meant suddenly the lawyers in London and in California and indeed in Johannesburg, we finally got attorneys and advocates to go on record, started jumping around. And we worked through the night on Thursday night to come up with an order in which they said they would hand over all the identifying information by Monday at midday, which they did. So we've now received the IP addresses, the email addresses, the phone numbers, and in some cases the device information of all of the accounts. By the time the court heard it on Friday, we'd actually identified 70 accounts. 58 of those were Instagram accounts, and 12 of those were WhatsApp channels. And they have deleted all of them, and they have provided that information. So that's with the forensic investigators at the moment. And as soon as we've got actual people, even if they are teenagers, it doesn't matter, they have capacity, then of course we will lay criminal charges and indeed explore civil remedies like suing for damages, getting interdicts, that kind of legal steps that we can take to try and make sure that the message is sent very loud and very clear to all South Africans Africans. The law applies. Do not think you can be anonymous online, and certainly don't think you can target children, because we will find you.
Okay, so I want you to also at some point speak to parents and guardians that are listening to us, what they can do better to protect their children online and what they should do if they suspect their child has been affected. But before we get there, let's talk about this 2-year hotline, and that's been set up between the DLC and Meta. How does it actually work practically, and has it started already? How effective has it been so far?
It has started already, and I've made 3 reports, all of them with almost immediate results. So that's very satisfactory. So basically what they've offered is that there is a hotline just for my company, the digital law company, to submit reports that will be fast-tracked and that will, within 48 hours, receive some kind of a response in any issue that may arise for the next 2 years relating to issues in the court case. So obviously we're dealing with the shade room accounts, but for me it goes further than that. We're dealing with child dignity, child's rights to reputation, any kind of child pornography, what we should be calling CSAM, child sexual abuse material. So it should have fairly broad application. And I think that the main reason for them creating that channel, Clement, is because at the moment, what Meta has is what they call a law enforcement takedown mechanism, which basically means if you're the victim of some terrible thing that's happened on one of the Meta platforms, you go to the police, you lay a criminal charge, and then the police, in theory, should be in contact with Meta using this sort of law enforcement hotline. Now, the reality is, if you go to the police in South Africa, and we did this, when these accounts first started popping up. My colleague Rourke went on a Saturday morning to the Rosebank police station and said, please help us. This is child pornography, child sexual abuse material, degrading, humiliating content. We need to open a case. And they said to us, we can't open a case unless you tell us who's behind it, which is just mad. I mean, it's like going to the police to report a murder and them saying, well, unless you tell us who committed the murder, we're not going to open the case. Because that is your whole damn job. Police is to find out who is behind it. But the reality is that our law is there. The Cyber Crimes Act is there. We've got laws around human trafficking. We've got rules around cyber crimes. We've got rules around non-consensual distribution of private sexual images and videos. But what we don't have is the policing capability. So where it should work, that they have this hotline to Meta, in South Africa that doesn't work. And so they've created a sort of a similar kind of a mechanism for me, for my work that I do for children.
So do you think there's law that can be applied to the individuals who are setting up these accounts?
Absolutely. So firstly, we're dealing with all sorts of child pornography offenses. So what these people were doing was they're creating Instagram accounts and then soliciting content, basically saying to people out there, if you've got any nudes, if you've got any videos of anybody, send them to us, and then we'll publish them. We'll keep you anonymous, but we'll publish them. But we're not going to publish them unless you tell us the name of the person, what school they go to, what grade they go to, and what their social media handles are. So they weren't just sharing random nudes of teenage girls. They were saying, this is this girl at this school, and she has an STI, and this person, and she's got a body count higher than her age, and, right? So they were soliciting child pornography. So that's the first offense. The second would be distribution of child pornography. The third would be criminuria, that these kids have suffered a severe impairment to their dignity, which constitutes the criminal offense of criminuria. In some cases, there was doxing, so sharing personal information with the intention of causing the kids harm. There was often extortion. Then there were criminal offenses of non-consensual distribution of private sexual images under the Cyber Crimes Act and under the Films and Publications Amendment Act. That comes with a 300,000 Rand fine and 4 years in prison. And I'm fairly confident, Clement, that the creators of these accounts are teenagers themselves. We need to bear in mind that children have full criminal capacity. That means the legal ability to be held legally responsible for their criminal acts from 14 years old, even arguably 12 and 13-year-olds can be arrested for those acts. And civil capacity, at what age you can be sued for defamation or for damages because of the harm that you've caused, that's actually 7 years old in South Africa. So as soon as we've got the people, which I'm hoping we're hours away from because the forensic guys are working on it, then the real work begins, and we'll kick into action to try and make sure that we really make an example in this case that will the message will filter down to all South African teenagers that this is not okay, and if you're going to play in this realm, you're going to go to jail.
Yeah. So Emma, please speak to some parents listening to us now and guardians who are just as scared, just listening to you tell the story, just more scared than I probably am. Because normally parents also don't check what their children are up to on their phones, right? What channels are they following? What messages are they getting? What are they involved in? So what advice and tips do you have for parents and guardians to better protect their children?
Yeah, we know from my decade-long experience in this field, Clement, that the most powerful line of defense against all of the online harms are active, involved, engaged, aware parents. I know we're busy. I know we all work full-time, and then our children, we come home and we're exhausted. You've got to take the time to speak to your children, to know what they're seeing, know what they're up to. The most important, there are two things I really want to focus on. The one is, I'm always asked, at what age should children be given smartphones? Well, when you feel comfortable that your child is ready to see pornography, that's the age at which they could get smartphones. Certainly, smartphones should be banned for children under the age of 13 in South Africa. They should be banned in primary schools. To understand that WhatsApp is a very dangerous platform. So often parents say, oh, here's a phone. You can't be on Snapchat or TikTok because they're dangerous and not suitable for young children, but you can be on WhatsApp so you can tell me what time school finishes and to be on your class WhatsApp group with your friends. What we've established here is that WhatsApp is actually, I'd say, more dangerous with less controls than just about any of the other platforms combined.
Okay.
The second thing I really want to emphasize is how important it is to not let your children have their phones with them in their bedrooms at nighttime. I lived and breathed these channels for a week, Clement, and I was having to stay awake all night to watch these accounts because they would say things like big drop coming at midnight, big drop coming at 2 a.m. And those children, theoretically, last week should have been either in exams or like they shouldn't have been online all night. So really making sure there are no devices in the bedroom. Your children will tell you they need an alarm clock. You go and get them an old school alarm clock. I promise you're doing your child the biggest favor. They're not sleeping if they've got their phones. And they're up to no good. No good happens with a tween or a teen on their phone and on the internet in the middle of the night.
At midnight.
So that's absolutely critical. And then, it really has been my professional life's work to educate as far as possible. So I go out and I speak. You actually catch me on the road at the moment. I'm driving down to KZN, to the Midlands, to speak at various schools. Education is critical. And I've just written a new book. It's called How Not to Mess Up Online, which is a teenager's guide. It's very, very like the K53 to owning a smartphone. Before you're allowed to drive a car, which is a dangerous thing, you need to know the rules and the laws of the road. And I think that, if I was the boss of the world, I would almost make it so that children had to get a license to own a smartphone. They need to know that they are legally responsible. There are laws. There are serious consequences to your reputation, etc. And long-term career prospects. We've got a situation now, Clement, that social media has been around for long enough that we see even young adults being fired from their jobs when content emerges of something they posted when they're 13 or 14.
Yeah.
Now, you and I can debate whether or not that's correct, morally correct, but the reality is that it's happening.
Absolutely.
So parents, know what your children are up to, educate them, keep them away from the dodgy platforms, and when your child comes to you to say, Mummy, I've seen this thing, or Daddy, I can't sleep because somebody showed me this terrible thing on the school bus, don't freak out and take the phone away, because it just means the next time it happens, they're not going to tell you.
They're not going to be
it's
honest.
really trying to have open conversations with children.
Lastly, I've got two seconds left here. Hi, there's a message from Marlene who says, hi, Clement. Emma, first of all, thank you for all that you do to protect our children. Here's a question. What legal rights do I have as a high school parent if my school won't introduce any cell phone policies, and as a result, every pupil in the school needs to have a smartphone?
Yeah, well, I am on an absolute mission to get bell-to-bell bans going at high schools in South Africa. Smartphones should be banned totally in primary schools. And in high school, I think the evidence is just so clear that phones should not be in the classroom, that EdTech actually, I think so much of so many of the issues we're dealing with now was because of COVID, and these kids were forced onto these EdTech platforms that they just weren't ready for. If the kids are using EdTech at school, it should be kept at school. They shouldn't come home. And I do appreciate there's a long way to go on that. And I will hold a webinar in the next few weeks about EdTech in schools and the crisis that parents find themselves in, because it's all very well having the rules at home, but then your school saying to your grade 4 kid, oh, they've got to have a tablet, they've got to have a phone, they've got to have a Chromebook, which might be locked down at school, but it means when they come home there are no rules.
Absolutely, yeah. Emma, when you do that webinar, please tell us about it so we can also alert some parents. I've got some of them sending us messages here about how that there are some of their children. Someone says, my daughter is 14 and we recently discovered that she was a victim of this by sending her pics to a boy that they met on Instagram, and she didn't know what she was doing at the time. My goodness, so scary. Emma Sedlier, thank you for making time for us, and thank you for the wonderful work that you do. She's the founder of the Digital Law Company. 11:33, time for the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Mbali, hi.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. South Africa's consumer price inflation increased to 3% in June. This comes after it held steady at 2.8% in April and in May. Statistics South Africa says the annual rate for food and non-alcoholic beverages reached a 15-month high last month. Chairperson for Parliament's Appropriations Committee, Musi Maimane, has stressed the importance of economic growth to support the social wage, which makes up more than 60% of the national budget. Maimane has also read the Government of National Unity, the Riot Act, saying it needs to do better in ironing out its political differences before it tables a budget. Today, the National Assembly hopes to finally pass the last money bill that comprises the national budget after 2 false starts in February and in March. And Ekurhuleni Mayor Dr. Xhakaza has commended law enforcement for urgently investigating the murder of the city's senior forensic auditor, Mpho Mafole. Mafole was shot on the R23 highway in Kempton Park earlier this month while returning home from a work-related meeting. A suspect is making his first appearance in the Kempton Park Magistrates Court today following his arrest on Sunday. Those are the headlines, this EWN and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling in Alexandra, we've got an accident on the N3 North that happened near Marlborough Drive. Delays as you come out of Modderfontein Road. Please be on the lookout there. It's causing about a 20-minute hold up. While traveling on the N3 North in the Bedfordview area, more delays due to an earlier accident between the Geldenhuys Interchange and the Kilulis Interchange. Traveling in Melrose towards Sandton, we've got some delays between Corlett Drive and Greyston Drive. This is due to an earlier accident. Please be on the lookout there and approach with care. There's more traffic volumes along the M2 West. This is between the Crown Interchange and Main Rift Road. Karabo Jali will have your next traffic update at the top of the hour.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
If they were to give in to your demands, this would be a 20% increase in overall cost to company. They're saying, and I'll quote them, this is an unsustainable escalation for any company. First of all, do you accept that number? And secondly, if you do you not feel that you're potentially putting the sustainability of the largest domestic carrier at risk?
The problem is we haven't got to the core issue, and that's the shift roster issue. It's not the remuneration that needs to be resolved first, and we wanted certain changes.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
Get ready to fill your stride with a delicious cup of Milo at the 702 Walk the Talk, packed with 6 vitamins and 3 minerals to help power your walk from start to finish. Swing by the Milo van for a tasty boost and experience the same energy that fuels South Africa's future champs every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Dear Journal, trying to be an adult at 3,469. Just had a fantastic 2-hour meeting. It was so productive that we accomplished nearly as much as I could have done with one well-written email.
Hating the corporate 9 to 5? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's easy and like 19 Rand a day. So it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Food Lovers Market's famous Winter Carnival is almost here, and it's going to be bigger than ever. This winter, we're bringing you the biggest deals of the season on everything you need, from fresh to butchery to all your pantry essentials, and so much more. Don't miss out on amazing value. Food Lovers Market Winter Carnival, valid from Thursday 24 July to Sunday 3 August. Visit our website and follow us on social media for more.
Two iconic South African acts, one unforgettable stage. Jeremy Loops and Ladysmith Black Mambazo present Echoes Between Us. Live at the Teatro at Monte Casino on 19 and 20 September. Experience this once-in-a-lifetime collaboration of rhythm, harmony, and heritage with these exclusive shows. Tickets on sale now from Web Tickets. Proudly supported by 702 and 947.
Coming up
on 702 Afternoons.
All right, coming up on 702 Afternoons is Jono standing in for Lebohile. How are you doing, Jono?
I'm very, very good. Clem, how are you doing?
I'm all right. What's popping today?
Lovely. So, in the open line yesterday, we didn't get a chance to have a chat about planning your own funeral. And I wanted to ask you quickly, is there anything that you've left in your will or whatever to say at my funeral or memorial service or whatever it may be that you choose to have? You want XYZ done? Or are you happy just to, let the loved ones who are left behind do what they have to do?
Oh, no.
Have you got your things planned?
And I don't even think that I've got, because I think my immediate, like my mom, my siblings are rational enough to be fair in the distribution, right, and handling of my estate. But
yes.
I just think to be careful and to avoid drama and confusion, just have everything completely drafted down. So my stuff is very clear.
Yeah, but the service, the actual service.
Oh, the actual service of the funeral? No, not really. But should I know if it happens that you sort of get a sense that, I think I'm about to die, I think I'll send them a message and say, this person mustn't speak at the funeral.
Okay.
Yeah. You know those people who come at funerals and they start talking rubbish.
Yeah.
Sometimes they lie.
I was Clement's best friend.
I mean, I haven't spoken to you in 6 years. So because we don't foresee death, it's very difficult to say. But I think I want them to take control of it. But should I know that I'm about to die, if I'm stuck in a coma, I'm in hospital, and I can still type, I think I'll sort of share with them what I would like.
Okay. Well, some people have planned everything from guest speakers to the music, to the ambience, how it should be, if it should be sad or happy. So there's so many things that we'll chat about, and I want to get our 702 family's views on this afternoon. Then at 20 to 2, we've got the finance feature, and we're going to be chatting about your credit score and why your credit score matters. And if your credit score is low or not too kosher, how do you increase your credit score? How do you get it higher so that, when you go and apply for credit or rent or whatever it may be, you don't get declined because your credit score is low? Then the masterclass just after 2 o'clock, we're going to be talking about sustainable design for better living. So I've got no clue what that means. So we'll unpack that in the masterclass this afternoon with our expert, Kikeletso Tisoloni, who is the co-founder and director of Ramtsilo Trading. So that's happening just after 2 for the masterclass.
All right, that's what's coming up on 702 Afternoons between 1 and 3 p.m.
The Sharing Space
on the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
All right, before I get into the sharing space, I'm getting a lot of messages on the WhatsApp line asking about the full interview with Emma Sedlia. Is it going to be on podcast? All of our conversations that we have on this show are on podcast. So just check it out when the show is done just after 12. Just Google Clement Manyathela Show podcasts. All the conversations that we've had today and the other days before should be coming up. So please send it to parents out there. Send it to your family members. We need to be careful here. We think WhatsApp is such a wonderful app, which it is. It makes for ease of communication, but it is also also quite dangerous. And if you've got a teen or you've got loved ones who've got teenagers, you need to send them that podcast. On our sharing space today, we've got an email that we're going to read. Sharing space, it's all about sharing our stories, whether something that happened at work, with your family, over the weekend, while you're on holiday, whatever it is. Maybe you want the listeners to share their thoughts, or you just want to share what happened and you want advice from our listeners. You can send us an email on cm@702.co.za. Share your stories with us. Today, we've got a story from Anonymous who says, "Greetings, Clement and the listeners. I was at a relative's graduation last week. I was not in the main auditorium. I was in the overflow area. There were a lot of people with children in the room where the overflow area was. One lady in particular had a small baby, about 6 months old. The baby was well behaved in the beginning of the ceremony, but a few minutes into the graduation, the baby started crying hysterically. The baby must have cried for about 2 minutes and then stopped. Then they started crying again a few minutes later. They stopped again. They then cried once more and for longer this time. And the baby was crying for the third time, and a lot of people in the crowd started shouting for the mom to leave the room. The crowd was resounding, and the mom had no choice but to leave. I was part of the crowd because we had grown tired of the baby crying. But upon my further reflection, I'm wondering if that was the right thing to do. The area was child-friendly, and the mom had been trying to calm the baby, but the baby's crying was disturbing people who were waiting to see their loved ones graduate. I don't know what kind of response would have been sufficient. Please ask your listeners how moms handle being with kids in areas where people may not be child-friendly. I'm also wondering if your listeners think our society is child-friendly." All right, Anonymous, thank you so much for the email. This is so fascinating. Number one, where do you stand on this one? Anonymous says, "I attended a graduation. There was a woman with a baby. The baby at some point was crying hysterically, and people were shouting for the mom to leave the room. Mom left, and Anonymous is now asking, was that the right thing to do? Or maybe they were not being child-friendly. They were being impatient with the mom. What would you expect in a scenario like that? Honestly, I would expect that if there's a child who's crying hysterically and that is beginning to disturb the proceedings, the mom has to go out with the child and calm them down until the child is calm and they can come back to join the proceedings. In fact, people who normally have hysterical, children whom they probably know are going to be unsettled at some point, they would normally travel with another person. So one of you guys has to take the child out, calm them down, and then you can come back into the proceedings, because you also don't want to hold the whole ceremony to ransom now. Now you are there with the child who's crying hysterically, and the church service can't continue, or the graduation ceremony in this case can't continue. Or do you think I'm not being child-friendly by suggesting that the mom has to step out? What do you think? What are your thoughts? 011-883-0702. You can send us WhatsApps as well on 072-702-1702. Was Anonymous correct to be joining the group of people who were shouting for the mom to leave the room at this graduation ceremony because the child was crying hysterically? What other option existed there? Should they have allowed the child to just cry there and disturb the proceedings? I don't know. How do you think matters like this need to be handled? And if you're a mom, you've had a child before at a church, at a graduation ceremony, at some event, and they were crying hysterically, how did you deal with it? Because I do agree that sometimes we can be a society that is not child-friendly. Let me know your thoughts.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Did the suspended minister Senzo Mchunu interfere with investigations to either protect his associates or even criminal overlords? We're asking now, will the commission of inquiry set up by President Ramaphosa get to the nub of the allegations, and will it do so timelessly?
I think for me, this will test the strength of the powers that the parliament have on oversight on the executive, but also it will test whether parliament takes seriously the national security of this country.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
The Dis-Chem Million Comforts campaign celebrates 10 years of keeping girls in school thanks to your amazing support. Help us care for more girls this year. Simply purchase sanitary pads from participating brands and place them in the Million Comforts bins in-store or donate online, and these brands will match your donation. You have until 17 August to make a difference in a girl child's life. Schoolgirls should never miss a period just because they're having one. The Dis-Chem Foundation, caring for the community.
My family's struggling with snotty noses and phlegmy coughs.
Oh no! Have you tried ACC?
ACC 600 is a convenient one-a-day effervescent tablet from 14 years of age, or now also in a no-water-needed, fruity-flavored sherbet-like granules that dissolve in your mouth. Ideal for the on-the-go adult. Ask for ACC 600 effervescent or oral powder at your nearest pharmacy to get rid of the snotties and flemmings. And trust, if it doesn't say ACC, it's not ACC.
You could smash that snooze button for the 7th time. Or you could grab the new Berry Blue sports drink from Aquila Vive and get moving. Blue has never tasted so good. Bursting with bold berry flavor, packed with electrolytes and vitamins, and free from colorants. Aquila Vive sports and power drinks. Let's move.
The Sharing Space
on the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
All right, 12 minutes now before 12 o'clock. Anonymous is asking us a question. Are we a society that is child-friendly? How do moms handle being with kids in areas where people may not be child-friendly? Sasha, let's start with you. You're calling us from Pretoria. What are your thoughts? Good morning.
Hi, Clement. I've got a 3-year-old autistic little girl, and I was in a very family-friendly restaurant yesterday with 3 of my kids, and my little girl had a meltdown, and it was so sad how people react. People were literally gasping when my little girl had a meltdown, and my 2 oldest sons, they didn't know what to do, and people were just being so horrible. And I think at a graduation there might be different rules, but unfortunately what I'm experiencing and what I'm seeing as a mom with a little girl with problems, it is not a family-friendly society we live in, and
goodness.
I would love for us to have more grace with each other.
Absolutely, Sasha. So in that case, do people look at you do they look at you nasty and they expect you to walk out of the restaurant?
That's what they expect. But the problem is I've tried so many different things with my little girl. When it escalates, there's nothing I can do. I can hug her. I can take her out of the situation. It just doesn't help. And it would have been nice if some moms, especially moms with kids, could have just nodded, smiled, and not have this total look of resentment.
Yeah, and have a meltdown. Yeah, Sasha, thank you so much for that. Are you that type that will have a meltdown and you get so angry and you give these angry looks when there's a mom or dad or someone there with a child that's crying, that's hysterical? I mean, in Sasha's point, her little girl, who's got a condition, you don't even know that context. But maybe we are just quick to judge and we're quick to want to have a meltdown because a baby is crying. Makiwa, you're calling from Johannesburg. What are your thoughts? Hi.
Hi, Clement. How are you?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
Good. Okay. With us, when we attend our services on Sundays, it's a basic rule. If a child or baby cries, the mother just have to stand up and step out, because we don't have a designated area where we say maybe mothers with children should sit this side. They sit in the main prayer hall. So what happens is immediately if a baby cries, they just know they have to step out. It's non-offensive. It's instated. Everyone knows that.
Got you. Makiwa, in Johannesburg. Thank you. Here are your WhatsApp voice notes.
Clemens, I think there's an unspoken rule
amongst people about children and crying. It's their way of communicating, and the child obviously was communicating that it needed some sort of attention. Either the bum was wet, or they're hungry, or they're overstimulated, and it's up to the mom to actually do something about it. I don't agree with shouting at the mom, but if she wasn't doing anything about it, I would definitely have gone up to her and said something. So no, I don't think Anonymous was right to be shouting, but there is an unspoken rule about that sort of thing.
Hi, Clement. I think for organizers of some events, they need to make sure that there is a designated child-friendly area. I know some churches actually have mom rooms where it's enclosed area, but with a glass view of the main auditorium. But I also want to add about flights as well. I think especially for those flights, those airlines with multiple flights to a certain destination a day, they should designate some flights as child-friendly, especially the ones in the mid-morning or whatever, so that at least even when people are booking, or even when the people with children are booking, they know that this will be a child-friendly flight. Just a suggestion for airlines. The first airline to do so, I think, will get a lot of families booking with them.
I think you...
Yeah, to sense what Jimmy mentioned.
Yeah, Jimmy, I think you're onto something there. There's a suggestion. Maybe indicate that this is a family-friendly, child-friendly kind of a flight. I mean, also technology is advancing. I think probably in 3-4 years' time, there will be a dedicated area in the flight for mothers or fathers who've got a child who is, between the ages of, a couple of days and maybe 8 months or whatever the case is. So I hope, and I think we're probably heading towards that place where there will be several options. But as it stands now, poor parents, when the child is crying on a flight and you're giving them angry looks, what the hell do you expect them to do? What are they supposed to do? Jump out of the plane? Lebo, you calling from Johannesburg. Hi.
Hello, Clement. I'm finding your conversation so fascinating. And I think it's a very gendered conversation. I bet you that if a man is with a child, a small child, and a child cries, the women will rush to help the man. So the judgment is not only on the fact that your child is crying. The judgment is that as a mother, you have unruly children. And so I have seen it so many times. Even some of your voice notes and callers, somebody said in the church, there is no space, but there is an unwritten rule that when a child cries, the mother must leave with the child. How many times do we say the father must leave with the child?
Yeah.
I have noticed, in fact, the whole issue you spoke about in the plane. There was a young woman, you could see this may not have been her children, who had 2 children, and one cried. There was such discomfort. And when I looked at her, she was crying silently. I just saw tears going down. But it was I don't know, as if what had happened in that plane. And I've also traveled, and I have seen men travel with unruly toddlers. And the women were oohing and eyeing. It's like, oh, this man is doing the
that's
greatest
cute.
thing on earth.
Oh.
And it's so cute. And let us help you. So it is such a loaded issue about, it's not whether we are child-friendly. It's what judgment do we have around children's behavior generally. I bet you, if it's a man, 3 women would actually be falling over each other to help with the child. Falling, literally, wanting to stretch each other's eyes out
Yeah.
to help, not when it's a woman. We are very unkind to women. We are also unkind to single women because you also don't know the story of why a woman would carry a small child to a graduation. knowing the kind of childcare issues that we have in this country, but very unkind to mothers. If it was a man, we would be oohing and eyeing. There would have been a woman picking up the child and volunteering to go out themselves.
True, yeah. Lebo, thank you so much for raising this element of there's a gendered layer here. And to Lebo's point, I mean, how many times do we say a man must walk out? When a man is with a child who's hysterical, do you give them the angry looks? Or as Lebo suggests, do you fall over as women trying to assist?
Majestic handling. A V8 horsepower that is... This is very annoying. I'm trying to read a car radio advertisement.
Whatever car you want to buy or sell, cut through the and just go to cars.coza and let's find what moves you. Cars.coza.
Future Life will be at this year's 702 Walk the Talk, supporting active lifestyles with a taste of smart nutrition for life. You can enjoy samples of Future Life, smart food and bars, nutritious, high in protein, and packed with 19 essential vitamins and minerals. It's the perfect fuel for those always on the move. It's convenient, delicious, and made for life in motion. Future Life, smart nutrition for life.
At Bright, we don't just provide business insurance, we insure your businesses.
Future success.
Because your business is so much more than desks and computers and equipment, which is why we use our specialist expertise to tailor solutions for each client differently to ensure what's really important. So insure your businesses.
Financial security,
with Bright today. Contact your broker or go to brightinsure.co.za to find out more. Bright. Approach risk with purpose. Bright is a licensed insurer and authorized FSP.
And they're off. Little too young, barely two, racing injured. Here comes whipped into shape, running on pain. Duct tape dreams on the outside, tongue-tied and terrified. And now discarded glory, limping to avoid the glue truck. It's beaten again, crop flying, lungs bleeding. And it's doped up glory, gets it by a nose. Now that's racing.
Cruelty is staining horse racing. The NSPCA is calling for the industry to sign their racing code of conduct. Show your support at nspca.co.za/Rein in the Pain.
Coming up
on the Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
How are you doing, Mandy?
Good, thanks, Clem.
What's popping today?
A suspect appearing in court today for the assassination of an Ekurhuleni auditor. We'll speak to our reporter in court for us. We'll get the latest on the vote on the appropriation bill and why it's so important. Will we get this budget over the line finally? The DA has said it will support the budget vote. MK, not so much. We'll speak to some Solidarity about the ongoing Fly Safair strike that's still having an impact, although Fly Safair seems to have stable operations for the flights that are running. Not great inflation numbers out this morning. Worst in 4 months, over 3%. Obviously concerning for how it impacts our pockets. And then the first batch of those kids that have been stranded in Portugal are arriving home in Cape Town.
That's the Midday Report with Mandy Wiener. Thank you for listening to the Clement Manyathela Show, the Wednesday edition. Let's chat again tomorrow between 9 and 12. Stay listening to 702. Have a beautiful friends. Bye-bye.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Mbali Dlamini. Meat, particularly beef, continues to be the main driver of food inflation in the country. Statistics South Africa says beef prices spiked for a third successive month, with high annual and monthly increases recorded. This is contained in Stats SA's latest consumer price inflation report, which showed an increase to 3% in June. This comes after it held steady at 2.8% in April and in May. Statistics South Africa says the annual rate for food and non-alcoholic beverages reached a 15-month high last month. Stats SA Chief Director